Something's not right. These articles appearing in the newspaper. Marquis Monet died in a carriage accident. Was it an accident or murder? On Monday, an earl died in a slip and fall. Tuesday, an officer died from falling off his horse. And on Wednesday, a cruise ship sank and all the guests on the top floor died. On Thursday, a young lady died from poisoned corn at a tea party. Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday brought news of death. This is the 7th death this week. It's strange. This time, I didn't do anything. In this era, where monsters coexist with every other creature, they are a threat to the Empire. Almost everyone was about to give up because of the overwhelming power difference. Then, the Saintess, who could communicate with monsters, appeared. That Saintess saved the Empire and found her love. But the presence of a wicked woman cast a dark cloud over her future. The former Saintess, fit by Louisa Gallus. Fitby believed the current Saintess stole her position. The villainess resented the heroine. Consumed by absurd delusions, she harassed the Saintess by any means possible. But each time, the Saintess wisely overcame the danger. The villainess's rebellion failed, and she was executed. And the beautiful, kind heroine, she lived happily ever after with her love in a world without villains. That story is the flower that tamed the monster, abbreviated as Monster Flower. At first, I didn't even know I'd been transported into that novel. 24 years ago, I was an ordinary university student in Korea. On my way home, I was in a car accident. But when I opened my eyes, I saw myself in a cradle, not a hospital. Fitby looked at the people in front of her, wondering, who are these people? Is this a dream? They murmured amongst themselves, is this Fitby? Yes, sir. She looks just like her mother. It would have been much better if she resembled her father. The butler standing behind them said, while he was alive, he didn't love her at all. The man replied, well, she's my daughter. When I learned she left behind a granddaughter, I wondered how ugly she would be. Fitby was still bewildered. No way a dream this vivid. Have I really been reborn? And into a rich family like this? What luck. Then it hit her. So what? Even though I've been reborn, my parents are already dead. My thorny path is already clear. The butler said, but didn't the young master and his wife leave behind the child of prophecy? Fitby wondered, the child of prophecy. They continued, she was born to save the empire. It's an honor for everyone. The name of the Gallus family will shine forever. Fitby's face paled. Wait, what's going on? This year, a girl inheriting the Gallus blood will save the empire from danger. I opened my eyes and looked at this strange world, panicked for a moment. It turned out my rebirth was into a special existence, the recipient of a prophecy. So, my growing up process was relatively difficult with the identity of the Saintess, the savior of the empire. From practicing swordsmanship to learning the official language, foreign languages, and the language of the nobility, and many other lessons. Isn't that too much? Of course, I was reborn. But at this age, all you need is proper nourishment to be loved. The person teaching Fitby said, Miss, you must focus. Good, let's try again. Fitby thought to herself, she's definitely pushing me too hard. It's because of the pressure from grandfather. This is abuse. Living like that for several years, I suddenly felt a strange sensation. This life felt familiar, like I'd seen it somewhere before. Then Fitby suddenly realized, it's like that Flower of the Monster story, and my life is like that of the villainess. I've been reborn for 6 years. If everything played out exactly like that novel, will I die? Oh my God. It wasn't until then that I realized this was the world inside the novel. So what have I been struggling for all this time? Because of a misunderstanding of the prophecy. In reality, the content of the prophecy wasn't entirely wrong. There was just one more girl who inherited that bloodline. The true Saintess was the daughter of a distant family, of the Gallus family, and the heroine of this novel. Time continued to slip by. One of Fitby's servants opened the door and entered the room, saying, Miss, the carriage is ready. Fitby asked, how long until the appointed time? The servant replied, there's still plenty of time. Mississippi. Fitby responded, tell them I'll be right out. As the memories of my past life flooded back, I felt truly exhausted. I've been cornered like this since I was a child. Is there really a chosen child of prophecy? Just because she was favored by God? I can't believe my position was stolen so easily. If I didn't have the memories of my past life, I would have gone mad. Fitby and Flower of the Monster didn't bully Estelle at first, but she was ridiculed by everyone as a liar and a villain. In the end, she fell from grace and committed wicked deeds. But that was the Fitby in the novel, not me. Fitby stepped into the carriage and said, "Let's go to the cafe I usually go to." Someone handed her a newspaper, saying, "You mean the newspaper, right? I prepared it for you." And Fitby replied, "Ah, thank you. Even if it's not my place, I'm still grateful. I'll live my own life." After everything was ready, Fitby said, "Let's depart. To achieve this, I've worked so hard. Even though those nobles caused trouble for me, even though they spread false rumors about me, I tried my best through it all. At this point, I've succeeded. A life of self-reliance. I'll do good deeds and walk a path strewn with flowers. My hardships are over. My future will be filled with blossoms." That's what I thought. But the supporting characters who were originally supposed to die by my hand are now dying one by one. They're all people who ridiculed Fitby. What's going on? Why do these people keep dying? I didn't kill them. Where did it all go wrong? The flower-filled life I dreamed of, it crumbled in a single moment. Think about it. Because I planned to live a good life, things went smoothly until I discovered that Estelle was the true saintess. Last month, the main plot of Flower of the Monster began. The hunting event hosted by the royal family, a gathering place for many nobles. A monster the size of a house suddenly appeared. And, just as foretold, Estelle tamed that ferocious monster. That was the moment the true saintess of the prophecy was revealed. Estelle spoke. "Is everyone all right?" It seems it was startled by the sudden noise at the usually quiet lakeshore. "It's calmed down now, so there's no need to worry." The onlookers murmured in astonishment. A monster like that it would take an elite knight to slay it. How could she tame it so easily? Could it be that the saintess in the prophecy isn't Lady Gallus, but Lady Euler? If so, she's been pretending to be the saintess and lying this whole time. Now that I think about it, Duchess Gallus and Lady Euler are the same age. And I'm certain the saintess mentioned in the prophecy is Lady Euler. Yes, indeed. Duchess Gallus has never displayed any such power. So, what will become of Duchess Gallus now? I knew it would come to this. I knew it, but that with the status of the saintess and the prophecy gone, all of that now feels so pointless. Becoming useless, that's why Fitby struggled so much in the original story. After all, she just wanted to be acknowledged, to have her worth recognized. But I have no intention of wading into that mud pit like a fool. After all, who would listen to the words of a fake saintess? But the people their gossip. She contemplated defending herself, but it was impossible. Everyone had witnessed what Estelle had done. Fitby approached the saintess and said, "Estelle, you are truly amazing. Thanks to you, all of our lives were saved. Your abilities are truly special. You might very well be the true subject of the prophecy." Those present were taken aback. I thought she'd argue back, but she admitted it so easily. Fitby thought to herself, "This is more of a commotion than I expected. There's no point in dwelling on it." Then Fitby continued, "Well then, if you'll excuse me, ending it like this is for the best." I thought so. Clearly, everything was fine up until that point. That's why I gave up the title of saintess and started a new life. I never imagined that those who argued with me would die one after another. This is certainly a situation ripe for misunderstanding. As if I killed them. My flower path, my life, what in the world is going on? Suddenly, a voice called out, "What do you mean?" Fitby, engrossed in the newspaper, had forgotten she was in the middle of a conversation. The young man continued, "Fitby, if it's something I can help with, anything at all, I will. If you have any worries, please feel free to tell me." This man was Sovieshu Armin Sandvader, Fitby's fiancé and the antagonist in The Flower That Tamed the Monster. Fitby startled, "Oh, it's nothing important, Sovieshu. I was just too focused on the news. I apologize." Fitby thought, wow, his expression is a bit too worried, isn't it? Such a gentle, almost foolish man. He only sees the good in people. He's so kind and gentle that he couldn't turn his back on the Fitby in the original story. His fate, by staying by Fitby's side until the end, was to be used and then die. Soviesha said, "You don't need to apologize, Fitby. I often read the newspaper during tea time as well. I'm fine, so please relax." In the original story, after Fitby learned that Estelle was the true saintess, she plotted to kill her. Estelle will light the torches and that can't happen. I can't just let everything be taken from me. I absolutely cannot stand seeing her on the platform, lighting the ceremonial torch instead of me. Please make her sick that day. Secretly slip this medicine into Estelle's tea. Help me. He's truly weak to my tears. But believing Fitby's words and giving Estelle that medicine went against his morals. So, Sovieshu tried the medicine himself. Surprisingly, just as Fitby said, he was only sick for 3 days and then recovered. Soviet-shu, trusting Fitbai, mixed the medicine into Estelle's tea. But when mixed with black tea, it became poison. Estelle fell into a deep sleep, and Soviet-shu was imprisoned for the murder of a saintess. But even after knowing he was tricked, he still protected Fitbai. When I read this novel, I wondered how such a fool could exist. After meeting him, I realized he wasn't foolish at all. He's kind, pure, and even full of responsibility. Plus, he's handsome. I feel a bit regretful for thinking that way in the past. Soviet-shu spoke, but this is the first time you've reacted like this while reading the newspaper. May I ask which article is causing you such distress? It's upsetting to see you suffering like this. Fitbai, seeing his halo, found him dazzling. If this wasn't an angel, who was? She couldn't even believe he was her fiancé. How could such a kind and pure person exist in this world? Fitbai said, "It's really nothing special. It's because of this article. Marquis Monet died in a carriage accident. As you can see, this accident is a bit strange. It was an accident caused by a loose wheel on the carriage. But something's not right." Soviet-shu, also suspicious, said, "Marquis Monet's carriage was manufactured just a week ago, so that shouldn't have happened." Fitbai replied, "Exactly." Soviet-shu's face became serious. There are many opinions that this wasn't a carriage accident, but caused by a culprit, and people think the culprit is you. All the recent victims had argued with you, so they think you're the perpetrator. What an irresponsible article. Fitbai looked dejected. On the surface, it seems like a coincidence. Soviet-shu continued, "Even if you did argue with the victims, weren't they the ones who started it? Before that, she was slandered by a man who claimed she was the child of the saintess prophecy. In the end, wasn't it all a lie? And even now, he's taking his fiancée to the opera." Fitbai thought to herself, "That's right. A noble woman insulted me in a cafe, and Marquis Monet, who caused a scene at the opera house, also died. But I'm not happy at all because I'm being accused of murder even though I didn't do anything." But talking to Soviet-shu helped her feel a little better. After Estelle was revealed as the true saintess, Fitbai was completely left alone. On the surface, they all greeted her with a word or two, but that was it. A mix of joy and sorrow. As soon as he read the article, Soviet-shu believed that Fitbai was truly innocent. How grateful she was. Then Fitbai, with a bright smile, said, "Even so, it's all right, Soviet-shu. I'm truly innocent." Soviet-shu immediately replied, "I know, but I'm concerned about the disgrace you're facing." Fitbai, looking into his eyes, thought, "He keeps looking at me with those innocent eyes. Disgrace. That's against the law." Soviet-shu hesitated, but Fitbai cut him off. "I'm fine, so you don't need to worry." Soviet-shu gently touched her hand and spoke, "Fitbai, you always say you're fine, but I'm truly worried. I'd hate to miss something if things weren't all right." Fitbai smiled and replied, "I know, and thank you for your concern, but I really am okay." Soviet-shu asked, "Are you sure about this?" Fitbai answered, "Of course. I think I'll be able to catch the culprit behind all of this. Yes, there's another reason why I absolutely must catch the criminal. They're the biggest obstacle to my goal. People I've never even met are dying, and now I'm suspected of murder. I've only come to one conclusion that aligns with the original story. There are no answers, only exile. I didn't even try to confront it. I immediately thought of exile. It might seem extreme, but after experiencing this reality, it's the best option. A few days ago, I realized I'm the villainess in the original story. This is all too harsh for the character, Fitbai. I'm not like the Fitbai in the original story, always causing trouble. I simply handed over the saintess title to Estelle. Honestly, if I had just done that and left without a word, at least no one would be standing in front of me yelling. But as a result, I'm even more ostracized. Unlike the cruel Fitbai in the original story, I'm somewhat kind and even humorous. It's not like I didn't explain the prophecy. But if they weren't going to treat me like the saintess anyway, I wasn't going to kill everyone. Why does everyone hate me so much? What did I do to deserve this treatment? Secondly, if I keep being labeled a murderer, my long-term plans will be disrupted. Considering the current situation, it won't be long before my family abandons me. The heir, presumed to be the true saintess, is actually a fake. There are even rumors that I'm a murderer. A family like the Gallus, who value their honor so much, will never forgive me. They'll probably marry me off quickly just to hold onto the Gallus estate. That would deviate from the original story. I might survive, but that's all. My remaining life would be confined to that estate. And what did Soviet-shu do wrong? The elders of the Sandvader dukedom arranged this engagement in the first place. Things have already gone this far, so I don't want to burden him with this. Where can I go? A place where I can utilize my abilities and live freely. Is there such a place? There is. This suggests magical empire. A small empire sandwiched between three larger empires on the continent. An empire more like a large city than its name suggests. A place known for accepting only a select few who can wield magic as citizens and never accepting anyone else. No one believed her, so she was called a fraud. But Fitby could actually use power. Of course, this power wasn't divine power, but magical power. Divine power and magical power share a commonality. They both utilize mana. Depending on the nature of the mana, the wielder can manipulate it to their will. The only difference is that magical power is used through magical techniques. However, very few people can use mana. The people of this land have almost no knowledge of magic or divine power. So, in the original story, when Fitby accidentally displayed magical power, she believed it was divine power because she was supposed to be the saintess. Because of that, she refused to believe she wasn't the true saintess. But thanks to that, I learned something. In the original story, Fitby misunderstood that it was divine power, so she secretly and tirelessly searched for answers. Finally, she learned how to handle magic, just like divine power. Even though, in the original story, she abused this ability to bully Estelle and died without knowing its true strength. But now I know this power clearly, and I know its value. So, from then until now, I've been honing my magical strength. According to the novel, with this power, I'll be welcomed with open arms by the Suggest Magical Empire. Those who go to the Suggest Magical Empire are cut off from the outside world and must abandon their status and relationships. Someone like me, condemned by everyone in the empire and about to be kicked out of my family. Isn't this the perfect situation? I thought this was truly a brilliant plan. I came up with a solution perfectly suited to my current circumstances. But I didn't consider the possibility of being unjustly denied entry like this when I made the plan. I forgot one crucial thing. That is the final condition for entering the Suggest Magical Empire. All exiles shouldn't have any suspicion of criminal activity. I can't let this plan fail just because of a murder charge for a crime I didn't commit. Relax. Just look at Sovietia's face and calm down. I will use these very hands to catch the real culprit. Sovietia asked, "You'll catch the culprit. If there really is a culprit, let me catch them. It's dangerous." Fitby laughed. "So you're worried about me?" Sovietia replied, "Of course." Fitby blushed at his kindness. Taking a sip of tea, she said, "You don't need to worry about that. I'm quite skilled with a sword." Sovietia said worriedly, "Even if you're skilled with a sword, you could still get hurt." Fitby set her teacup down. "It's not like I'm going alone. There are many people who will help. I'm a Galice, after all." Fitby looked at Sovietia. "I don't think all of them will be on your side. You said so yourself in our last meeting." Fitby was surprised. "Did I say that?" He usually doesn't say anything, just listens silently. What a good memory. How should I justify myself in situations like this? I don't know. Maybe their deaths were just coincidences. Then Fitby tapped her hand. If there was a case every 2 days, maybe it would be understandable, but one every day. It's impossible not to be suspicious. So I can't just put this newspaper down and curse them. Even if I weren't involved, it would still be suspicious. Sovietia said, "You're kind." Fitby crumpled the newspaper. "Not really. I actually wish this newspaper company would go bankrupt." Sovietia gave a small smile. "I hear that newspaper company is in a lot of debt. It probably will go bankrupt if this keeps up. I wouldn't be surprised if I heard news of its bankruptcy in a few days." Fitby replied, "Is that so?" She thought to herself, what does he mean by that? Actually, that newspaper was also the one that fiercely reported on Fitby's wicked deeds in The Flower of the Monster. And it's rumored that Fitby caused the newspaper's bankruptcy. But the truth is it was already drowning in debt. I find it irritating that I didn't do anything, but this is quite novel. Sovietia spoke up. "That's interesting news." Fitby, flustered, replied, "Of course it's interesting. It's best if they go bankrupt." Sovietia's voice became serious. "Yes, things will go as you wish, Fitby. So now, we just need to catch the criminal." Sovietia asked, "Are you really going to look for the culprit?" Fitby replied, "Have I ever joked before? I know you're worried about me, but I have to clear my name. Besides, he hasn't killed many important people yet, but he will soon." Fitby worriedly thought, actually, this is the biggest problem. If things continue like this, the next victim will clearly be the young master of the Lunit family. Ever since he failed to seduce me and felt inferior, Count Lunit's son has always provoked me whenever we meet. But the problem isn't him, it's his father, Count Lunit. The Count turned his back on me, and that's where everything started. Count Lunit is one of the leading figures standing up against the monsters. His influence is truly vast. The Gallus family abandoned Fitby. That was the decisive reason that led to her death. If young Lunit dies under these circumstances, Count Lunit will turn against me before the truth is revealed. Lost in thought, Fitby spoke aloud. If that happens, I'll be cornered. I can't let things continue like this. Sovieshu asked, so their deaths don't make you happy? Fitby smiled and said, to be honest, I do feel happy. I feel very relieved. Sovieshu asked curiously, then can you tell me what the problem is? Fitby replied, the problem is that those arrows will turn back on me. Everyone thinks I committed those murders. Sovieshu said, bewildered, this is really confusing. I thought everything was unrelated to you. Fitby said, probably because there's a death every day. Sovieshu, as if suddenly enlightened, said, every day. So, dying every day is the problem. Fitby replied, that's right. Someone dying every day is suspicious. If it were accidental deaths, they would only happen occasionally. That wouldn't be connected to me. Sovieshu replied, so, if they die and it's not related to you, then you can be happy. You'll feel more at ease. Fitby thought, bewildered, why is he suddenly asking this? Sovieshu took a sip of tea and continued, I'll keep this in mind. Fitby happily thought, I don't know what he'll keep in mind, but it'll probably be all right. It's been a while since Sovieshu has been this cheerful. Sovieshu placed a hand on his chest and said, even so, I'm worried. I'll also help you catch the culprit. Fitby thought, so he'll keep in mind to help me. These comfortable thoughts today will be the beginning of everything. At that time, Fitby didn't suspect Sovieshu in the slightest. To Fitby, Sovieshu was a kind and upright person. And the biggest reason for this was Fitby herself. A person always surrounded by people, Fitby felt exhausted by everyone's attention. So, she closed her eyes and covered her ears. Sovieshu, looking up, thought she's truly indifferent to those around her. Perhaps she isn't even aware of it herself. Fitby said, I'm very happy today. Sovieshu replied, if you're happy, then I'm happy too. Thank you for always being kind to me. Fitby. Sovieshu, looking at her, thought, that expression again, that sad and lonely expression. What makes her so sad? Why is that always her expression? And why does she sometimes act as if she'll leave forever? If she doesn't intend to tell me, I won't ask. I only recently discovered the reason. How dare those bastards lay a hand on my noble fiancé? Such trash. Even their deaths are too loud. Whenever they mocked her, how disgusting they looked now, begging for mercy. Sovieshu stepped forward, saying they should have killed him. Even more painfully, someone beside him remarked, Your Grace, you've returned. Duke Lunit, Sovieshu addressed the man La, his escort. La inquired, was the meeting enjoyable? Sovieshu crossed his arms. You asked the obvious. La raised a hand to his chin. Indeed, but these past few days, you've been quite preoccupied with your fiancé. Sovieshu replied, that's right. La continued, if you've taken on one task, you must be handling many. So, have you successfully returned to the duchy? Sobieshu answered, no. It seems you're less experienced in handling matters than I thought. I still have some issues to resolve. LA's face fell. More overtime today. Wonderful. Sovieshu held out a newspaper. I have to go meet some debt collectors. A few days later, the Harrington Gazette revealed collusion with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, all due to Harrington's massive debt. Fitby, seeing this news, was slightly surprised. Oh, bankrupt, someone beside Fitby remarked. Are you talking about the Harrington Gazette? I'm surprised too. Fitby thought to herself, back then, I said it would be nice if they went bankrupt. But it's only been a few days, and this has already happened. The person beside her continued, such a large newspaper, bankrupt in a single morning. Who knew the director had such a large gambling debt? There were rumors they were fine, but everyone was fooled. Fitby spoke up. Well, I heard that's the truth. Do you know anything about it? I only heard a little. You're about to meet Duke Sovieshu. This story is a bit strange. Fitby replied, it's all right. Fitby thought to herself, it's not really all right because meeting Sovieshu today is a lie. But if I didn't do this, I wouldn't be allowed to go out. Earlier, her father had said, don't go out for the time being. You know, public opinion isn't favorable towards you right now. So, it's best if you don't go out too much for now. It will be better for you. I will allow you to go out to meet your fiancé. Nothing else. For 2 weeks, Fitby had been confined within the monster flower. Although not explicitly stated, Fitby knew that as someone rumored to be a murderer, going out wouldn't be good. However, there was one exception, meeting with Sovieshu. Fitby had said, next week, I have a dinner appointment with Sovieshu. I'll go and come back. Her father had replied, do as you please, but remember to bring servants with you. His intention was clear, to keep an eye on Fitby. Even so, today, she had to go out. Back in the present, today was the day the young master of the Lunit family would die at the black market auction. She had to prevent it. Since her first meeting with Sovieshu 2 weeks prior, she had begun gathering information to prevent the murder. Fitbai said, "Look, Sovieshu, isn't this advertisement a bit strange?" Sovieshu asked, puzzled, "What do you mean?" Fitbai crossed her arms. "This is a ring with the name Black Cat's Desire. The combination of letters doesn't relate to the advertisement at all." Sovieshu asked, "Can you decipher it? It doesn't seem like a difficult code. If you write these letters together and break them down, cursed ring, it seems this is the product's name. Because they can't advertise it openly, they have to use a code. This is a black market advertisement." Fitbai gazed at it, a thought striking her like lightning. The cursed ring. It had to be. This was where the young master of the Lunit family, the young Master Lunit, would be murdered. In the original story, in the novel, young Master Lunit was killed by Fitbai during a black market auction. His death was described in vivid detail, a pivotal event that entangled Fitbai in a web of trouble. This black market. This was where Marie E.T.'s cursed ring would be the prize. I won't kill young Master Lunit, but judging by the current situation, the culprit would definitely appear at this auction. In the original storyline, Fitbai had thought this the perfect place to murder young Master Lunit. So convinced was she that she had no business here. She'd even deciphered the coded invitation for herself. "Apologies for the delay," the auctioneer announced. "The auction will now begin." Fitbai thought of her maid. She'd given the maid, who also acted as her surveillance, a sleeping draft. But the atmosphere here was far too tranquil for a murder. A figure cloaked in black, seated beside Fitbai, spoke. "Is something the matter, Lady Fitbai?" Fitbai rested her chin on her hand. "It feels like nothing's going to happen." The young man beside her replied, "That's usually how it is." This man was Merlin, the leader of the Zodiac Guild. He continued, "From what I can see, it seems unlikely anything will happen today. The man accompanying me is the leader of the Zodiac Guild." The heroine of Monster Flower had a lot of support. Among them, the most frequent was Zodiac, an information guild disguised as a cafe. In the original story, there was no connection between Fitbai and Zodiac. The position of Saintess came with considerable danger, and she needed power. She'd approached Merlin before he had close ties with Zodiac, and eventually, she became the master of Zodiac. So now, they weren't Estelle's subordinates, but hers. Knowing everything from the original story, yet doing nothing is truly foolish. Merlin knew her plans. He was her most valuable asset. Thanks to him, she'd even secured an invitation to the black market. Merlin gestured towards the item being auctioned. "My lady, I doubt there's anything special here. Why don't you stop your surveillance and buy something instead?" Fitbai grimaced. "Absolutely not." She continued, "Even you were captivated by that grimoire." But then again, Fitbai hesitated. "There's no other way. It's practically impossible to find a grimoire within the Empire. If even you aren't paying attention, then what are we to do?" "Our purpose isn't to buy anything," Merlin reminded her. "I understand what you're saying," he added, "but I'm still skeptical. How could anyone possibly commit murder at a crowded auction like this? Especially the son of a count." Fitbai considered his words. He had a point. Normally, no one would commit murder at an auction like this. But surprisingly, the Fitbai in the original story had done just that. Fitbai pulled out a pouch of coins. "Why don't you believe me?" Merlin's eyes widened at the sight of the money. "I will keep a diligent watch. Then I'll approach young Master Lunit. This spot seems a bit too far." Fitbai thought to herself, there shouldn't be anything unusual. The auctioneer's voice boomed through the hall. "This is the final item for today. Marie's cursed ring." Fitbai's eyes locked onto the ring. There it is. The cursed ring. Perhaps it was the way the light caught it. But suddenly a voice called out, "Fitbai." Fitbai recognized the familiar voice and gasped. "Sovieshu, what are you doing here?" "Sovieshu." Fitbai stammered, her face paling. I didn't expect to see you here." She gestured vaguely. "Wait, let me sit down." Fitbai stared, utterly bewildered. Why was Sovieshu here, of all places? Caught, she thought, her mind racing, by the one person I least wanted to see me here. Could Maria's ring really be that cursed? Just being in the same room with it brought misfortune. I don't want him to think I'm some black market regular, she fretted internally. Sovieshu's voice, close beside her, broke through her thoughts. "You came here in secret, didn't you? Fitby blurted, yes, I had something I needed to check. Let me be clear, this is my first time at the black market. Really? Sovieshu seemed puzzled by her hushed tone. Is that so? He replied, then I'm glad to be sharing your first time here. It's my first time too, so I was a bit nervous, he admitted, but seeing a familiar face, well, it makes me even more nervous. Fitby looked at him, thinking he's truly an angel. Sovieshu continued, do you believe me? Fitby gave a shaky laugh. I do, but what's with the dark aura behind you? She'd been worried about being caught by Sovieshu, but if it was him, she knew he'd keep quiet. More than anything, Sovieshu's safety was paramount. Taking his hand, she asked, why are you here? This is a dangerous place. Someone could get killed. She couldn't bear the thought of Sovieshu being in danger. Sovieshu hesitated. Well, didn't you see the advertisement for this auction last time? He asked. Oh, Fitby replied, realizing what he meant. Yes, I did. You seemed interested in that ring, Sovieshu explained. You've been through a lot lately, and I want to get you something as a small comfort. So he came all this way to this dangerous place just to give me a gift. He was always thinking of her. How could she possibly tell him she wasn't interested in the ring now? Thank you for your concern, she managed. But how did you find me? She asked. I didn't think I was that noticeable. Sovieshu replied, I heard your voice. Fitby was surprised. You found me just by my voice. She recalled her rather boisterous bidding war for the grimoire. Could he really have recognized me from that alone? No matter where you are, I can always find you, Sovieshu declared. Anywhere. Fitby felt herself weakening under his gaze. Even if I don't say anything. Sovieshu's voice softened. Of course. The feeling of you, it's unique. His whisper is mesmerizing. She thought, completely captivated. But the auction is still going on. Please, no more whispering. The auction. She'd completely forgotten about it after seeing Sovieshu. Where's the young master lunet? Is he still safe? The culprit will strike now, she realized. While it's chaotic, when it's easiest to avoid notice. Sovieshu spoke, interrupting her thoughts. I heard they're accepting gifts over there. Oh, then let's go, Fitby responded, her mind still racing. Sovieshu took her hand. My pleasure. I was supposed to stay until the situation was resolved, Fitby thought, her anxiety rising. But if this continues, Sovieshu will be caught in the crossfire. He's so kind, coming all this way just for me, for his sister's fiancé. I won't let him get hurt. Absolutely not. I can't let Sovieshu be put in danger, she resolved. But I can't just stand by and do nothing either. Merlin, she commanded silently, follow and stop the assassin. In her mind, she heard Merlin's response. By your will. This has given me a headache, Merlin grumbled internally. Stop the assassin, she says. Leave it to me. This kind of thing is my specialty. Fitby thought to herself, if I've left it to Merlin, there shouldn't be any further problems. Sovieshu came all this way for me, so I should help him get out of here. After some time, a weary Fitby returned home. I'm so tired, and I didn't even do anything special. I should have just gone home straight away. A not-so-special day in my life. 1. Woke up. 2. Secretly went to the black market. 3. Prevented a murder. 4. Ran into my fiancé at the scene of the crime. 5. Went on a date. 6. Returned home safely. 7. Slept. I was on a head straight home, but I ended up staying for dessert. He asked me to, so how could I leave him? Time for a bath and then bed. Suddenly, Fitby heard raised voices nearby. Good heavens, it's all because of Galix. Because of that princess's existence, Galix's honor will be destroyed. Fitby wondered, surprised. I was wondering what all the commotion was. It seems they're here again. Elders of the Galix family, I carry their burden. Ever since I became a saintess, from a young age, I've endured countless assassination attempts. Although they don't treat me well, it's different when it comes to Estel as a matter of principle. They are the intermediaries for Estel's integration into Galix. Whenever she faces difficulties, they grant her the authority of the family. Fitby continued to listen. You know, to regain our honor, we must give them. Galix. To Estel. Fitby thought to herself, always carrying that burden. And now I've become useless and am about to be cast aside. I don't want to hear any more of this. The sound of pearls falling from Fitby's bracelet drew the attention of everyone present. Fitby's grandfather, seeing her, spoke. It seems my granddaughter has returned. You raise your voices without any regard for time or place. Even if she heard everything, there's nothing to be said. Get out of my residence immediately. If you don't, I'll cut out your tongues. The men, startled, hurried to leave, but not before saying, it's late, so we'll take our leave. I hope to receive an answer next time. Resolutely silent, Fitby thought, what's next? I hope they won't show up for a while. Her grandfather asked, when did you arrive? Fitby politely replied, I just got back, grandfather. Just now. No, it's late. Where else have you been? Fitby answered, I was on a date with Sovieshu. He wanted to see me off, so I sent the carriage back ahead. My bracelet suddenly broke, so I may have interrupted your conversation. Her grandfather asked, so you heard everything, even the recent rumors. Fitby, sensing something new, said, Grandfather, you don't need to worry about me. Her grandfather said, no, it's not because I'm worried about you. Fitby felt a pang of sadness. Oh, I see. I've overstepped. Go and get some rest. Fitby thought he values the family's honor more than his own blood. I know he's that kind of person. Why wouldn't someone like that accept Estelle into the family? And what's the reason? Even though I know I have to let go of these feelings since I'm leaving anyway, I still hold on to this hope. During those tiring days, hearing affectionate words or a teacher praising me with sincerity. Even on my birthday, a day I'd forgotten, a small, hand-stitched pincushion, a gift from a servant, filled me with resolve and a flicker of hope. Hope in the goodwill of others. If only young Master Lannet, the one who spoke such kind words, hadn't insulted me, not out of malice, but from his own crippling insecurity compared to Sovieshu. Or if only the teacher who always praised me hadn't done so, with the ulterior motive of having a student become a saintess for the sake of reputation. Those 2 pincushions the maidservant gave me. If only that poison needle hadn't been planted. If that hadn't happened, everything would be different. Stop thinking. It's draining me. I can't sleep yet. I need to receive Merlin's report on what happened. I shouldn't be reading this magic book anymore. I still have to write to Sovieshu. Maybe missing one day won't matter. But the thought had barely formed before sleep claimed her, exhausted in body and spirit. The scene shifts to Sovieshu. La asks, Your Majesty, may I inquire why you keep staring at that piece of paper? Sovieshu replies, It's nothing in particular. Usually, after seeing me, she sends a message saying she's arrived home safely. But today there's been no contact. La asks, so, that paper, is it a message? Sovieshu clarifies, a message is a magical item, used by dividing it into pieces. If one person writes on their piece, the same words appear on all the others. It's an expensive commodity, equivalent to a count's annual tax revenue. A truly rare luxury. The writing on a message disappears after a day. Are you writing love letters with it? This is the first time I've actually seen one. I heard a single sheet is worth a diamond mine. This is what you said you gave to Miss Fitby. Fitby replies, yes. Sovieshu recalls her expression at the time. This isn't cut yet, is it? You haven't touched it yet, have you? Give me a refund immediately. Sovieshu blushes. That expression was truly adorable. La says, Your Majesty, if there's no message from the young lady, who always sends word of her safe arrival, it means she's asleep. So, how about you hear my report first? Sovieshu agrees. Very well, let's hear it first. La begins his report. A wise decision, Your Majesty. First, I purchased the gift as ordered. The intermediary's fee was 320 million gold. And the target, as you instructed, after he left the auction house, I intended to eliminate him. However, an unexpected individual intervened. He controlled the shadows. As far as I know, there's only one person on the continent capable of such a feat. Sovieshu finishes the sentence. The Zodiac Guild leader. He would have concealed the incident using shadows, so you couldn't confront him directly. La replies, Yes, Your Majesty. I apologize for disappointing you. It's all right. Sovieshu consoles him. It was the Zodiac Guild leader, after all. I understand there was little else you could do. I don't understand why Zodiac would interfere in this matter. I'll investigate this further. I must eliminate the vermin that harass her. It will serve as an example to others. But I won't tolerate failure next time. Back with Fitby, she wakes with a start. When did I fall asleep? Merlin, is young Master Lannet back safely? Mullen replies, Of course. Who do you think I am? Besides, you were right. Someone was targeting young Master Lannet. When I was shadowing the target, he sensed me and fled. Judging by his acute senses, he's no ordinary person. Fitby agrees, suspicious. It seems he's skilled enough to see through the shadows. A Morlan can control shadows. Now, shadows don't just mean the abyss, shrouded from light, but all kinds of darkness. This means very few can defeat a Morlan in the shadows. Fitby continued, if it's someone who can mobilize people with such abilities, they could try to kill the target again at any time. Merlin added, honestly, I think it would be better to just let him die. The assassin's methods are quite novel. Fitby thought to herself, even after mobilizing the Zodiac, they couldn't catch the assassin. That means the assassin is likely someone with more power than me. Merlin spoke up, it would be great if we could figure out the assassin's motive. Why do they keep trying to kill him and then just disappear? Merlin mused, could it be one of your fans? Mississippi Fitby gave a soft laugh. That's a naive answer, Merlin. Estelle is the main character of the prophecy, so who would be a fan of me? It's much more believable to say they're trying to frame me and bring me down. Suddenly, a booming voice interrupted Fitby. Sir, didn't I tell you to go back? Hearing the commotion, Merlin commented, Miss, it sounds like there's some drama at your house. Fitby replied, I'll go check it out and be right back. Leaving the room, Fitby thought to herself, what's going on? Grandfather doesn't usually raise his voice. His voice echoed in her mind. Listen carefully, Lady Gaelix, past, present, and future. There's only one Fitby. Fitby was taken aback. What's this all of a sudden? The red-haired man continued to plead, Sir, you must listen to me. What good is the lady to the family now? Fitby's grandfather replied, It seems you misunderstand. I never said I wouldn't protect young Lady Estelle, because she comes from a distant branch of the Gaelix family. I will protect her accordingly. The red-haired man protested, Sir, that's not protection. What good is that kind of protection? To protect the saintess under the Gaelix name. Do you know the best way is to adopt her? Fitby's grandfather's voice deepened. Count Gaelix. The best way, you say, is that without consideration. The child has lived her whole life revered as the child of prophecy, the saintess. We only discovered the truth a month ago. This 1 month. Rumors of her being a murderer have even spread. Have you considered how she must be feeling right now? Overhearing this, Fitby was stunned. What? Grandfather has never spoken to me with such affection. What's going on? He's always been indifferent towards me. Even if he's thinking of me now, I've already decided to leave. I shouldn't listen anymore. Come to think of it, Count Gaelix's visit was also the first day Estelle arrived at the Gaelix estate. Something feels strange. If this were the original story, she'd be talking to Duke Gallister right now. Why are things happening like this? My priority is leaving the family, so should I help her? Fitby then approached Estelle's carriage. Could you come out for a moment? I'd like to talk to you. Seeing Fitby approach, Estelle was surprised. She thought to herself, ever since I was young, I've heard stories about the young saintess of Gaelix. Stories like, how can the saintess be so mature at such a young age? I heard she was the one who suggested opening the temple vault during the spring crisis. You too, grow up and become someone wonderful like that. The saintess is truly a remarkable person. Someday, I also want to become someone as amazing as her. Ever since I was little, the saintess has been my idol. Fitby mused, her thoughts drifting to a cherished memory. The first time I met her was at the hunting competition. A monster appeared there. I just tried to calm it down, but the saintess got hurt. Did I cause her trouble? What do I do? She's definitely going to be angry. Fitby remembered her childhood anxiety. But, unlike what I expected, the saintess spoke such kind words. After that day, I didn't see her again. It's such a shame. I never thought I'd see the saintess again and even hold her hand. A thrill coursed through Fitby. Then, composing herself, she addressed Estelle formally. I'll officially greet you once more. Welcome to the Gaelix estate, Estelle. Estelle responded, a hesitant gratitude in her voice. Thank you for welcoming me. Fitby continued, it seems you've been in the carriage for quite some time, so I came to check on you. Are you waiting for your uncle? Estelle's eyes shimmered as she replied, ah yes. I'm a little worried because he's late. I wonder if there's a problem. Certainly, Fitby affirmed. If you call it a problem, then it might be. Estelle responded with a worried, yes. Fitby, taking Estelle's hand, said, let's walk and talk about this issue. A jolt like static electricity passed between them. The saintess in the flesh is holding my hand. Estelle thought, awestruck. Fitby, with a determined look, reassured her, trust me, Estelle. I'll help you with the family. Meanwhile, in the central hall of Duke Gaelix's mansion, the Duke declared for the time being, we won't do anything to threaten Fitby's position. Moreover, now she's suspected of murder. She needs a shield, and that's this family. So for now, we won't. His voice trailed off, a shadow of melancholy passing over his features. That's my granddaughter, the one I've never treated well in my entire life. He wrestled with a painful truth. There's something I've been avoiding because it reminds me of my deceased son. All I could do was raise her well, so she wouldn't be ashamed under the title of saintess. The butler inquired, do you still not have any thoughts about speaking with the young miss? All right, the Duke conceded. That child just burst into tears at the sight of me. The butler handed him a document. Take this. It's a list of tutors I've selected. I've chosen the best teachers in the 6 territories, and given her a life she doesn't need to envy others for. She doesn't need people like me. A sigh escaped his lips. All I can do is give orders in a stern voice. What child would love a grumpy old man? Just then, Fitby stumbled and fell. Ouch! She cried out. Her tutor rushed to her side, concerned. I'll go to the doctor to get some medicine. You should tell the master. Fitby quickly responded, no, don't tell him. He's busy. He won't want to hear about his granddaughter's knee. He doesn't care. Unbeknownst to Fitby, the Duke overheard her words. She said such things. What kind of thoughts must she have endured to feel that way? Even though I haven't been a good grandfather, I didn't intend to hurt her any further. Back in the present, the Duke spoke, his voice carefully neutral. Fitby is my only granddaughter. You're also a father with children, so you can understand my feelings. The Countess, overhearing the conversation, found herself unable to argue. I understand. If you say so. Just then, Fitby entered with Estelle. I'm back, grandfather, she announced. The Duke paled, witnessing the scene. Good heavens, why would she treat me like this? What are you thinking, Fitby? I can't believe she brought Estelle inside. I was so close to persuading that stubborn. His face transformed, a mask of pleasant surprise replacing his consternation. Lady Fitby, welcome back. How was it you returned with Estelle? Fitby offered a mirroring smile. Greetings, Count Galix. I encountered an unfamiliar carriage upon my return, seemingly occupied. I felt compelled to intervene, perhaps a touch too presumptuously. The Count rushed to reassure her. Not all. No, not at all. Estelle has been quite eager to meet you. Haven't you, Estelle? Fitby, taking Estelle's hand, continued smoothly. We've been chatting on the way here, Estelle and I, even touching upon the reason for your visit to the estate today. The Count seized the opportunity. Indeed. However, I haven't yet received the Lord's permission for Estelle. A pointed cough from the Duke interrupted him. The Count is correct. I have yet to formally welcome Lady Yull. Fitby's voice cut through the air, sharp and clear. And, Estelle, you intend to leave her in the carriage, baking under the scorching sun. The Galix family's hospitality, as I've been taught, is not so callous. Fitby, the Duke countered, while your sentiment is admirable. Given the current circumstances, bringing Lady Yull into the Galix estate, don't you see the implications? Fitby's question was pointed. You mean formally adopting Estelle into the Galix family? The Duke's voice hardened. Yes, I have no intention of granting that. A flicker of something unreadable crossed Fitby's face before she spoke. I had assumed you would handle this with more prudence, grandfather. That's why I remained silent on the matter. But, she continued, her voice laced with a quiet disappointment. I'm disappointed to see you treat Estelle this way. The Duke looked taken aback. What are you saying? Fitby pressed on. Shouldn't ensuring Estelle's safety under the Galix name be our utmost priority? I simply don't want anyone to suffer needlessly because of this. Estelle is the child of prophecy. She deserves to be treated accordingly. Fitby, the Duke protested, you don't understand the ramifications of what you're suggesting. A small smile played on Fitby's lips. I believe I do, grandfather. Even so, he pressed, you still insist on this course of action. I'll be fine, Fitby replied calmly. Please, grandfather, make a wise decision. Inwardly, her thoughts churned. I'll run away. Whether someone becomes an adopted daughter or a saintess, it won't matter. Your reasons aren't out of affection for me. You simply don't want to be criticized for abandoning your own blood. The Duke covered his face with his hands. I understand. If Fitby feels this strongly, I will bestow the Galix name upon Lady Yull. Fitby and the Count exchanged a look of pure elation. But the Duke wasn't finished. Count, don't celebrate prematurely. The Galix name I grant is the Galix. Their joy plummeted. The Galix meant bearing the name, but not being a true member of the family. The Duke continued, I cannot concede any further. Fitby's mind raced. This is beyond my calculations. He's not going to fully accept Estelle into the family, is he? Could it be? It absolutely cannot happen, Estelle being refused. No way. But Estelle, she thought differently. If I become a Galix, I'll be taking the lady's place. Not long ago, Fitby said as she walked with Estelle, you are the saintess. It's time you enjoyed the privileges that come with it. Estelle wondered, what about the lady? Fitby replied, I'll find my own place. Don't worry about me. Back then, I was only excited about the position of saintess, because I didn't think at all about the lady's feelings. Don't worry, lady. Now, I'm on your side. Back in the present, Fitby took her leave. I'll be going now. Talk amongst yourselves. Now that things are back to normal, I should finish the rest of my schedule. It seems like the letter I wrote this morning has been answered. There aren't many instances of ordinary mana usage, so I can sense this mana quite keenly. I can feel the memories within the mana, and even the sender's emotions through the medium of exchange. Paper is convenient, but it's different from talking face to face. Through this letter, I can feel So's emotions as he wrote it. In the letter, So says, good morning, Fitby. It seems you went to bed early, so I couldn't wait for your letter. I was worried something might have happened. I'm glad you left a message, even if it was just for a short time. Fitby, having received the letter, thought, What should I reply? He waited for my letter. He really is kind. The manna is overflowing with joy and relief. He must have been worried because we couldn't communicate last night. I'm so happy. I didn't think I'd win the ring at the auction. Ah, the yellow diamond of the ring is the same color as your eyes. It suits you perfectly. Still happy, huh? Why does he always write about such trivial things? There are 2 pigeons sitting outside my window. I wrote briefly because I was just leaving a quick message, but So's letter is as long as ever. Continuing with the letter. Do you remember the day of the party at the Royal Palace? I haven't heard anything about the dress code for Fit By, so I wanted to ask you in writing. If you leave a short message, I'll check it right away. Is that day already approaching? If it weren't for So, there wouldn't be a party like this. I have to reply quickly. My dress code is sharp. Alright, color and gemstone colors trending these days. Maybe those 2 pigeons are a couple. He sent a reply right away. Sharp, I understand. It's a shame I'm not very sensitive to these trends, so I can't give you a precise answer. My toes are tingling. He seems very happy with that reply. So, have you prepared a sharp outfit yet? Even if you don't follow fashion trends, you always look good. So replied, there's a sword-shaped button made with the San Valentine seal. My outfit isn't too bad either. I think the butler chose it thanks to his keen sense of fashion trends. He mused, the story about the pigeon couple seems boring. A new, more interesting topic. Then he wrote, the pigeons seem a bit dull. Did anything happen to you today? Fitby giggled. How cute and a little embarrassing. Fitby's device responded. Recently, Saint Estelle visited my estate. It's also because of the party the day after tomorrow. So asked, can I ask, does the party the day after tomorrow have anything to do with Miss Estelle? Fitby replied, it's about Estelle receiving protection from the Gaelics family. I'm guessing they'll talk about something on that day. So wondered, I don't know if Estelle has any animosity towards you. Fitby answered, are there rumors about Estelle hating me? So said, there aren't any rumors. I'm just asking to know your feelings as you go through this time. It's true that if you look from the outside, the relationship between me and Estelle is one of rivals. Not only are we bound together by the position of saint, but we're also tied to the same family. But Estelle is truly kind. In a novel, Estelle's good heart became the most important key to saving the world. Lately, I've been struggling a bit with the criticism out there, so it seems So is worried too. I haven't sensed any particularly strong emotions from So through Manna, though. Then Fitby replied, thank you for worrying about me, but Estelle is a good person. So said, because she's a good person. He then replied to Fitby's letter, I did what you said, but please differently. Remember that all betrayals were a smile. So, you understand what I'm worried about, right? But you really don't need to worry so much. Trust me. Of course, Fitby. The saint truly has a generous heart. There's no other way. I'll clear all the obstacles in your path, so you don't need to worry. Then he turned and called. Lala replied, yes, my lord. So said, it seems the target list has grown. La asked curiously, besides young Master Lawnet, who else? If 2 people die in the Imperial Palace, it'll be easily discovered. So replied, don't worry. This isn't about killing the target. This time the target, my fiancé, says Saint Estelle isn't dangerous, but I don't want to ignore those who threaten her. The leader of the Zodiac Guild. From the beginning, I've always been stubborn. After learning that Estelle Euler is related to Aquarius, a leader of the Zodiac Guild, I can't leave the Zodiac Guild alone. Zodiac will be my warning to Estelle. She won't die, but in exchange for her life, the cause of all the murders will be brought to court. Zodiac is the only S-rank information guild on the continent. The name is derived from the 12 constellations of the Zodiac. Their positions and names are also borrowed from the constellations. The head of Zodiac is Aquarius. The master of Aquarius is the most powerful person in the guild. That's Cassiopeia, the constellation of the queen. And each of the 12 leaders has subordinates named after constellations. The problem here is one of those 12 leaders is Estelle's cousin. Fitby says Estelle isn't dangerous. Just because she was born with a little luck, she can take everything from Fitby. That's annoying enough. Now, she's even joining the Gaelics family. Estelle's very existence is a threat to Fitby. The previous conversation convinced me. La quickly came and said to the butler, prepare a gift. 2 people, one mocking Fitby by dealing with the target, the other, a threat, also disappearing. It's as if saying this isn't for her, and she can leave anytime. Will she be able to stay by my side? Back to Fitby. Melon said, So was waiting. You've been waiting for a while now. It had already been an hour since their appointed time. Fitby snapped, quiet. I know. I'll apologize. Trailing behind, Melon continued, no matter what, I can't observe the target perfectly. You have to do something. My cousin could be in danger, so I'm asking you to keep an eye on her. Fitby replied, all right. I'll at least keep an eye on Estelle, and I'll monitor the target. Melon asked gravely, how do you know? Fitby, perplexed, asked, know what? Melon's voice was serious. I mean the truth about Aquarius's cousin, the newly declared saintess. Fitby suddenly realized she'd said too much. Melon asked, did someone at the Zodiac Guild tell you? Fitby stammered, no, it's not like that. It's just, the constellations always know more than us, you know? Melon replied, are you trying to evade this conversation with Armado? Fitby worried about how to explain herself. Melon just chuckled inwardly, thinking, whether it was then or now, she's never been good at lying. Melon decided to go with the flow, sparing Fitby further embarrassment. Well, judging by your reaction, it seems no one did reveal anything. If it wasn't the guild, then all right. I'll be in touch and report to you, as usual. Fitby breathed a sigh of relief. Go on then, Melon. Melon replied, I'm off. Then, he gradually faded into an ethereal, dark shadow and vanished. Fitby thought to herself, I unconsciously revealed details from the original plot. Not just this time either. It seems like the memories from the novel and my past life are merging. As time passes, the memories of my past life have faded after such a long time. And the only thing clear is the memory of the flower world. It's like the monster is erasing all information related to this world. I need to be more careful. So's voice startled her. Fitby, you're here. Surprised, Fitby responded, So, I'm sorry I'm late. Have you been waiting long? So said, it's all right. Even if I had to wait for a month, I'd be happy. Fitby flustered, what are you saying? If I didn't come, you would have left, wouldn't you? I was afraid of that, so I contacted you beforehand. And yet, you didn't even get in the carriage. So said gently, but if I waited, you would come, wouldn't you? You wouldn't abandon me. Fitby replied softly, Of course, I wouldn't abandon you. I'm not lying. Even if breaking off the engagement means destroying the marriage agreement, it doesn't mean my relationship with So will fall apart. If I'm thinking of leaving, I have to end things. It's cruel, but not with So. So spoke gently again. Why are you looking at me like that? Fitby, embarrassed, said, It's just, you look very handsome. I hope So will live well. That's why I need to leave sooner. If I stay here, I'll only cause him trouble. But it's about time Melon contacted me again. I don't see young Master Lanet. I'm feeling a little uneasy. Should I go look for him myself? Suddenly, everyone's voices rang out in unison. The son of the Empire, the wise Emperor's son, Crown Prince Killian Leandro. He was the fortunate young man who unexpectedly became Crown Prince due to the sudden death of his older brother. Born to the Empress, and the male lead of this novel. I can't believe I'm seeing that face again. Ever since we were young, we often saw each other at parties and became childhood friends. Anyway, if Killian knew I wasn't the saint, maybe he'd still stay by my side. In my naive younger days, I often thought that way. But that day, I overheard Killian's true feelings. Where's Killian? That's Killian's voice. The people there gossiped amongst themselves, asking Killian, why do you keep following the saint around? Killian said there were many things he gained from her. He held everything I needed, that belief. And yet, Killian betrayed me. Back in the present, Killian spoke to Estelle. Lady Estelle, you're truly beautiful. Estelle softly replied, Thank you. The Crown Prince continued, You said you saved everyone at the hunt. Everyone is praising your bravery. Wherever I go, people are talking about Estelle. After the hunt, Estelle's story was on the lips of everyone in high society. But for some reason, Galix kept Estelle close and didn't let her out. Curiosity about the saint grew and grew without end, until Estelle appeared and took Crown Prince Killian's hand. Truly a perfect debut for the saint. At the same time, it was a rather harsh blow to Fitby. So turned to Fitby and asked Fitby, Do you mind? Fitby asked, surprised. So continued, You've been looking in that direction this whole time. Fitby realized she'd been a little too obvious, watching with a slight pang of jealousy. Then she replied, I'm fine, So. Do you feel uncomfortable being alone with me? Even if they ignore me, as long as So is here, it's fine. Perhaps so. So spoke again, of course not. I don't feel uncomfortable at all. Being by your side, anywhere is fine. Before he could finish his sentence, Estelle approached. Duchess, we meet again. T'es bien de surprise. Estelle replied brightly. Yes, Duchess. You look beautiful today. Fitby forced a smile. The dress suits you very well, Estelle. So, what brings the Crown Prince here? The Crown Prince took Estelle's hand and said, My companion today is Estelle. So, as a gentleman, I must escort her. Is there a problem with that? He added. Fitbai grimaced inwardly, thinking plenty of problems. The biggest one being, I don't want to talk to you. Fitbai spoke up, addressing So. So she began. I'm Festi. Could you get me some apple juice over there? Sure, I'll be right back. Wait here. The Crown Prince interjected. Fitbai, it seems Duke Sanvato isn't aware of the Emperor's apple allergy. Fitbai replied coldly. Yes, it's true. Only I and you would know. The Emperor is allergic to apples. So even if you searched the entire palace, you wouldn't find a single one. The atmosphere changed in an instant. The Crown Prince thought to himself, even knowing that, she still asked the Duke. She doesn't want her fiancé to see this, does she? This is getting more and more interesting. Estelle, standing nearby, asked the Crown Prince, Duchess, are you too close? The Crown Prince chuckled. Of course we are. Fitbai frowned slightly. Not at all. The prince continued. It's a shame, really. We've known each other since we were young. Fitbai thought, friends. You're the one who never thought of it that way. Aloud, she said, if you're just looking at the length of time we've known each other, it hasn't been that long. And from that perspective, it hasn't even been a few years. After learning Killian's true feelings, I've been avoiding him. He hasn't seemed to care about my attitude at all. The Crown Prince just laughed and said, building a castle in a few years is enough. Fitbai scowled. If it's enough, then go build it yourself. Estelle, at his side, widened her eyes in apparent surprise. This was the first time she had seen Fitbai treat someone so bluntly. They really are close, she thought. What does she see in him? That's right, Miss Estelle. Fitbai really hates me, Killian said, echoing Estelle's thoughts. Estelle continued, let's dance together to make up. I heard that in some capitals, a dance is a sign of friendship. Come on, let's do it quickly and then leave. The Crown Prince said, it's truly impossible to refuse the Saintess. So, shall we dance a little, Fitbai? Fitbai found the whole situation ridiculous. The Crown Prince then placed his hand on Fitbai's waist. Turn this way, he instructed. Fitbai stepped on the Crown Prince's foot. I know you better than that, he said. Your personality hasn't changed a bit, has it? Fitbai thought to herself, I want to get this over with quickly. So many eyes are on us. If I refuse the Crown Prince in this situation, it will only create more rumors. As they danced, Fitbai asked, your skills are still the same, aren't they? The Crown Prince replied, his tone sharp, and you still hate me just as much. Tell me honestly, Killian, what are you trying to do by bringing Estelle to me? The Crown Prince said, it seems you've misunderstood something. Estelle wanted to see you. Fitbai was surprised. Estelle. The Crown Prince replied, yes. She said she wanted to find you, so I just helped her a little because she couldn't find you. If I couldn't find you, I wondered if I should just leave, he added. Fitbai then asked, all right, so what do you want? The Crown Prince smiled and replied, I was curious about your reaction more than anything, because I missed you. Fitbai, Louisa Galix, his unfortunate Saintess, flashed back to the past. When she heard the Crown Prince say that, she turned and fled. Those who were there seemed to notice as well. Huh, she just ran out. Isn't that Saintess Galix? I wonder if she heard. Be careful what you say, or else. The Crown Prince thought to himself. The Keogh family is growing powerful thanks to their merchant status, and Everjune, the eldest son, has pledged his loyalty to the royal family for generations. They're all figures I hold power over in the future. Then, the Crown Prince said aloud, it's fine. She's not the type to seek revenge for something like this. If I reveal this to the adults, they'll question me privately. To get them on my side, I need to create a common enemy. If it's Fitbai, they'll understand. Her memory and perseverance are superior to those of her peers, as is her audacity in doing whatever it takes to achieve her goals. I've come this far by using you. If you want, you can use me right back. There's more than enough of me to go around. We both know each other's true colors, don't we? That expression. Back in the present, the Crown Prince forced a smile and said, that's the first time I've known you to be such a bad dancer. Fitbai retorted, don't you think that's a rather rude thing to say to a lady, Your Highness? The Crown Prince, Killian, continued, his gaze burning. Why don't you go see your fiancé? His eyes look like they're about to catch fire. Fitbai retorted, don't make such ludicrous jokes. You think everyone's like you. Killian lifted Fitbai slightly, a playful glint in his eyes. I'm serious. If you don't believe me, just look. Fitbai scowled. I don't see anything. You're lying. Honestly, you're so clueless. No wonder I sensed a murderous aura. I've truly missed you, Killian murmured. Not a day goes by that I don't hear your name. A new Saintess has appeared, and then there are the rumors about you being a murderer. Fitbai gave a short laugh. The rumors have spread even here. She kicked at him again, but he dodged it easily. No good, she thought, at this rate I'll fall. Just in time, Killian caught her. Be careful, Fitby. If you make a mistake here, there will be rumors that you tried to assassinate the crown prince. Fitby looked into his eyes, a dangerous glint in her own. It's a shame it's just a rumor. The rumors accusing you of murder are spreading, Killian said. I know you didn't do it. Fitby was taken aback. He knows I didn't do it. What is he playing at? He continued. If you need help, come to me. Fitby's mind raced. Come to him for help. What does he mean by that? Does he expect me to grovel at his feet to avoid being framed? But how can he be so sure I'm not the murderer? Unless Killian is the real culprit. It's possible Killian is known to kill for a purpose or even just for amusement. If he's the one behind this, I'm walking into a trap. If young Master Lawnet was murdered under compromising circumstances, if Merlin is caught, no one will believe my innocence. My plan will crumble. Back in the present, after the dance ended, Estelle showered them with praise. That was wonderful. You both danced so well. So, standing nearby, added, I've watched you dance before, but we always dance together, so I never knew how amazing you look from a spectator's perspective. Fitby forced a smile. Thank you, so. She felt like she could hardly breathe. So offered her a drink. I couldn't find the apple juice you mentioned, but you looked thirsty, so I brought something refreshing instead. Fitby took the glass, her stomach churning. If I put anything in my mouth right now, I'll be sick, but refusing would be rude. Suddenly, the crown prince approached. Excuse me, I've been talking so much. My throat is parched. Would you mind terribly if I had this? Fitby stared at him, surprised. What is he up to? She managed a polite, of course, your highness. Then, turning to So, she asked, is that all right? So, though clearly irritated, maintained his composure. Certainly. Suddenly, she received a message from Merlin. Second floor, rooftop. Panic seized Fitby. Merlin's tone, something's happened. I have to go. Estelle noticed Fitby's sudden shift in demeanor. Fitby blurted out, a friend is looking for me. I have to go. So looked puzzled, wondering who this mysterious friend could be. Fitby's face paled. Just a moment, she stammered, I won't be long. Estelle, noticing Fitby's distress, looked concerned. Princess, your complexion, are you all right? Fitby quickly pulled Estelle's hand away, addressing the small gathering around them. I'll be right back. With that, Fitby hurried away, leaving the three of them, Estelle, Killian, and So, in stunned silence. Onlookers began to whisper amongst themselves. My, how kind Lady Estelle is to her. So the rumors are true then. The rumors about the Saintess being a fake, a murderer, even if it hasn't been revealed publicly. Who else could she be if not an imposter? Estelle, overhearing the whispers, felt a pang of guilt. The princess had been so kind to her, and now she was being misunderstood because of her. What was she to do? The princess had always been so good to her. Clearly, something was terribly wrong. Estelle spoke up. I'll go after her. Killian, surprised, responded, what? Wait. I told you to wait. The scene shifted to Fitby, pacing anxiously on the second floor terrace. If this is an emergency contact, things aren't good. The longer I wait, the more danger Merlin is in. Merlin always comes back unscathed, no matter the mission. I thought this time would be the same. I was too complacent. She closed her eyes, whispering a desperate plea. Please be safe. Then, louder, Merlin. Suddenly, a hand clamped over her mouth. Quiet. It might still be nearby. Fitby's eyes widened in horror as she saw Merlin's condition. Merlin, oh gods, your wounds. Merlin managed a weak chuckle. I knew you'd come. Fitby realized these weren't ordinary injuries. His body was being consumed by shadows. The shadow monster. This parasite feeds on its host's blood in exchange for power. If I'm not careful, I could be swallowed whole. The power itself becomes the weakness. I have to purify it with healing magic or extract the monster. But with this much blood loss, extraction is impossible. If he bleeds anymore, Merlin will die. There's only one option left, healing magic. But there's not enough time to reach the temple. Merlin writhed in agony. Fitby gritted her teeth, her heart aching. There's no other way. From now on, no one can know what happened. This is my first time trying this, so I don't know if it will work. I just hope it does. Sadam, Malik, Nyenma, Kaos, Baobing, Denta, Makit. Answer me. 12 constellations, grant your blessings. The books of divine power and magic all began with that phrase. For the 12 constellations are called the sun's path, linked to the earth. The intermediaries who wield the power of the constellations use nothing but divine power and mana. So, until now, I've been researching the method of materializing and manipulating mana, training to borrow the power of the constellations. Furthermore, humans believe in the existence of mana attributes. even if they can only manipulate those after the constellations. Each constellation is associated with a specific attribute, but I can manipulate magic like divine power, so I can bypass the mana attributes and manipulate all 12 constellations. That means I can manipulate all mana. It's fortunate that I learned how to use the constellations last time. I should be able to use them right away. A voice echoed, "O young maiden, what was it that made you try to call us like that?" So amused. It seems Fitby has finally succeeded. Fitby's voice pleaded, "Please help me. My friend is in danger." Aquarius, the constellation, muttered, "Mana, it's still not enough." "How foolish. I know I'm being arrogant," Fitby responded, "but I desperately need it. I don't know what else to do." There are 3 ways to borrow the power of the 12 constellations. First, borrow a portion of a constellation's power. Second, create a vessel for the constellations to temporarily inhabit. Third, summon the constellations themselves so they can use their own power. The method I'm attempting is summoning, the most difficult of the 3. The difficulty lies in the fact that the constellations can refuse to help the summoner. Capricorn, the constellation, spoke. "A child who hasn't properly read the grimoire. I apologize, but I have little interest in children." Fitby retorted, "If you're not going to help, then disappear." For Fitby, this was a gamble. She pressed on, "If you won't help, I'll summon another constellation. I have no other choice." Capricorn replied, "Isn't your current magical power already strained?" Fitby clutched her chest. "My friend is dying out there. I'll save him, no matter the cost." Capricorn chuckled. Not an ordinary child. Quite bold. Very well, I'm pleased. It would be a shame to refuse this vessel. I am Delta of Capricorn. I answered the summoner's call. Fitby rejoiced. "Yes, I succeeded." Another voice echoed. "Such sincere energy. I'm quite fond of those like you. I will help you, human." Fitby gasped, seeing Sagittarius appear. Yet another voice chimed in. "Don't get me wrong, I don't hate you." Fitby silently celebrated. Aquarius. This was exceeding all expectations. The 3 constellations asked, "So what should we do?" Fitby grinned. "Don't worry, I'll have you do what you do best." Back with So, he was growing increasingly anxious about Fitby's absence. Crown Prince Killian's voice cut through the air. Duke So, this attitude isn't very becoming. So retorted, "What business is it of yours?" Killian chuckled. "It's surprising to see you like this, the moment Fitby leaves." So crossed his arms, his expression cold. "We've only met once or twice at parties." Killian raised an eyebrow. "Is that all?" Fitby sees you once a week, but I suppose she doesn't know this side of you. So thought to himself, what a snake. He then recalled a conversation between the Crown Prince and Fitby. Fitby had said, "If you're warning me like this, then I understand. Please stop hovering around So and me." Killian replied coldly, "Does your fiancé know about this?" Fitby responded, "I doubt he does. I only treat you this poorly." So, remembering this, thought, Fitby is always friendly to everyone else. But in front of the Crown Prince, she's surprisingly cold. I was so jealous of that. Just then, Fitby hurried back. "So, I'm so sorry I took so long." So, seeing Fitby brightened, Killian, watching them, thought, just a little more provocation. There's no way he won't follow Fitby in that situation. She's clearly hiding something, So said, his affectionate gaze fixed on Fitby. "It's been a pleasure chatting with you." Fitby replied, "Of course. I'm about to be hated for being late on a promise." "Friends, this is just saving someone who's dying," Fitby had said at the time. "I'll assign you to the tasks you're best at." Sagittarius spoke with concern, "But human, your mana is almost depleted." Capricorn added, "At this rate, the summoning will end before you can even help him." Fitby replied confidently, "If that's the case, I have a solution. There's a lot of mana in the air. If I filter out a bit of my own, don't worry about the mana anymore. Let's move." Among the 12 constellations, Aquarius has the strongest healing abilities. He will be responsible for healing Merlin. Aquarius approached Merlin and said, "I sense a faint life force, but he can still be saved." Fitby commanded, "The most skilled archer in terms of attack will protect Master Lawnet." Sagittarius declared, "I will not let your blessing disappear." Fitby continued her arrangements, and Capricorn can use his magic in various ways. So please move Merlin to the carriage and protect him. Capricorn snorted, "Using my body as a mirror guard. How arrogant." Aquarius approached. Fitby said, "Leave this to us. You're in a difficult situation right now, aren't you? It's shifting according to the mana. You should go quickly so I can return." "But I consumed too much mana." Summoning 3 constellations, after all. Killian, the Crown Prince, looked at Fitby and spoke, but Fitby seemed lost in thought. "What is it?" Fitby asked, puzzled. "What about Estelle? She's always been here. Why don't I see her?" So replied, no. As soon as you left, she followed. Didn't you see her? Fitby was surprised. She followed me. While summoning the constellations, I couldn't look around. Could Estelle be there? I'll have to see her directly to know for sure. So then turned to the crown prince and questioned him. Fitby said she didn't see her, and your highness is her companion, so you should go look for her. The crown prince retorted, Duke, it seems like I'm talking to Fitby right now. So paused for a moment, then said, Your Highness, if you felt that was disrespectful, I apologize. Seeing Fitby looking tired, I interjected into the conversation. I was being impolite to His Highness. Then Fitby immediately rebuked the crown prince. What are you saying? So he's just concerned about me as my fiancé. Killian, why are you treating so like this? The crown prince fell silent, at a loss for words. Then, in a serious tone, he said, I'm in a rather foul mood today, so I seem to have taken it out on the Duke. I really should be going. Why is he in such a bad mood? Anyway, I'll find Estelle. I can talk to her then. We'll be going now. You should go find Lady Estelle too. It's rude to let your companion wander off alone. Leaving already. I thought you had something to say to me. Fitby replied with disdain. Don't flatter yourself. So let's go. So extended his hand. I'll escort you back to your residence. Then I'll be in your care. Normally, I would refuse, but the carriage I arrived in has already taken Merlin. It should have arrived by now. I wonder how Merlin is doing. Just then, La appeared to greet So. Your Grace, you've returned early. So inquired La, has anything unusual happened? La removed his hat and replied, Nothing in particular, Your Grace. Just the usual, like the mournful coo of a dove in the night. So's voice deepened. Is that so? You've worked hard. Let's depart. At that moment, Fitby seemed to realize something. What's going on? That wound. Fitby pondered as she walked. Something felt amiss. La, is your hand injured? La stammered, Oh, this. It's nothing, my lady. I sometimes spar with His Grace. This is from last time. My fault entirely. I see, Fitby replied. Be careful. There's no need for concern, my lady. But the bandage was clearly damp, as if the wound was fresh. Is it just my imagination? Fitby approached and asked, How is Merlin doing? Aquarius replied, He's stable. He should be waking soon. Sagittarius spoke up. I confirm that young Master Lawnet has returned home safely. Capricorn added proudly, This vessel hasn't even utilized a tenth of its power yet. Fitby said softly, Thank you all for your hard work. I'm grateful. Aquarius responded cheerfully, It's been ages since I've visited the human world. It's quite exhilarating. Capricorn chimed in, Remember to summon this vessel again. I'll show you something truly magnificent. Fitby turned to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, why didn't you go? Sagittarius replied, You tasked me with protection and observation, to report any suspicious activity. You mentioned someone approaching young Master Lawnet. Fitby quickly asked, Did you see his face? Sagittarius answered, I couldn't see his face clearly. He moved too quickly. I only noticed a scar on his right hand. Fitby was stunned. Wait, thinking back, LA's right hand was injured. Could it really be a coincidence? Just then, Merlin began to stir. Seeing him awaken, Fitby said, Are you feeling more alert now? Merlin, still dazed, mumbled, My lady, what? Fitby stood and explained, This is my room. I brought you here because you were unconscious. Merlin clicked his tongue. This is your room. I'm allowed to be in a place like this. Fitby stepped closer. Of course. It was an emergency. How are you feeling? Merlin checked himself over. Now that I think about it, all my wounds are gone, and the shadow creatures are quiet. How did you do it? Fitby smiled. I borrowed the power of the constellations. It was my first time summoning them, so it was a bit of a gamble, but it worked. What about you? You were with Estelle and Lawnet, weren't you? Merlin recounted the events. We were ambushed. I don't know how, but he could pinpoint my location in the darkness. It felt like more than just being seen. It was like he was looking right through me. I wouldn't have run otherwise. I'm so ashamed. Fitby consoled him. Don't say that. You did your best. Merlin felt remorseful. No, my lady. I almost failed to protect my charge. Fitby gazed at him for a moment, a look of concern in her eyes. Merlin, your life is what matters most. You didn't lose that, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. Merlin replied, but if this happens again, protecting them won't be easy. Well then, Fitby began, it's not entirely a bad situation. He didn't just see a shadow. He actually thought of a way to eliminate you. If that's the case, it means he knew you would be following young Master Lawn today. Merlin picked up the thread. So that means the man I met before and the one who ambushed me this time are the same person. Fitby continued, exactly. And if our guess is correct, his goal wasn't to kill you. Merlin questioned, You think so too, Mississippi. Perhaps he planned to frame you for murder and attacked you to prevent your escape. If the culprit's plan had gone accordingly, I would have been used as a pawn, Merlin mused, a grim expression settling on his face. Fitbuy's voice was equally serious. It seems the culprit planned this more meticulously than we thought. Merlin's face suddenly brightened. The constellation summoning was pretty amazing, wasn't it? I guess I should revisit those forbidden books on divine power and mana I gave you. They proved quite useful, didn't they? Fitbuy chuckled. Is information that hard to come by for an information guild leader? Merlin grinned, his nose wrinkling slightly. And who do you think I am? Fitbuy replied, but truthfully, it was thanks to the grimoire we bought at the auction. Well, that's not important. What matters is that I helped you, Mississippi. It was pretty incredible. Anyway, no temple could have healed like that. Even if you borrow power, not everyone has the same ability. Compared to borrowing, channeling is stronger, and summoning is stronger than channeling. Merlin asked, intrigued, so summoning is quite difficult then? Fitbuy confirmed, yes. The grimoire must have a high resonance with the constellations, and the mana consumption is immense, making it very difficult. But we managed it. I have an affinity for mana. That's why she believed I was the saintess in the temple. In the end, it was just her delusion. Merlin pondered for a moment before speaking. So, Miss, you can also use divine power. Fitbuy answered, I can. Merlin continued, then, according to the prophecy about the child of the galaxy. Miss, you meet the conditions, have a high mana affinity, and can use divine power. So, couldn't you be called a saintess? Fitbuy burst out laughing at this. What did I say that made you mistake me for the saintess? Merlin, feeling a bit embarrassed, said, don't laugh. I was being serious. Fitbuy then asked, then how do you explain Estelle? Merlin stammered, unable to answer. Actually, you could see it that way. But Estelle has a special ability that I don't. Only the true saintess has the power to save this world. Soon, this empire will be overrun by monsters born from forbidden experiments. With their immense power, the empire will be helpless and near destruction. The saintess, Estelle, possesses divine power and can communicate with monsters. She will sway them and create an army to destroy them. And wait, and then what? I read it a long time ago, so I don't remember the ending clearly. Since she's the heroine, destroying them shouldn't be a problem, right? Merlin asked, folding his arms, so what's the next plan? We need to catch the culprit quickly. Fitbuy, lost in thought, replied, actually, I suspect so's attendant. According to Sagittarius, the culprit's palm was pierced by his arrow. So's attendant has a wound in the exact same spot. Merlin, upon hearing this, was astonished. Is that true? No, does that mean... Do you mean Duke Dew is the true culprit? But no, that can't be. The Duke is very fond of my lady. Perhaps he only wanted to deal with those who posed a threat to... Fitbuy interrupted Merlin. I know what you're thinking, but he's my fiancé. Dew has always trusted me, so I don't want to jump to conclusions. Merlin, after a moment of heavy silence, replied, I understand. Then we shall simply wait and see. Dew felt she only showed this vulnerability before her fiancé, done in a different place. That's why you lost your target. Not only did you make a mistake, but the plan also failed. So, how am I supposed to accept this absurd outcome? La stammered, his voice laced with dejection. I was going to handle it as you instructed, but after leaving the Zodiac leader near death, I left and went to deal with young Master Lawnet. So asked, intrigued, the dying man disappeared. La replied, yes, that's correct. So, looking at La, thought to himself, there's no reason for La to lie. If it were La, he wouldn't have let someone of that caliber escape. But for the dying man to suddenly vanish, there must have been a third party who helped him. Then, so spoke aloud, for the time being, be careful until your hand heals completely. You may leave. La replied, thank you for your generosity. So, gazing at the ring on his finger, mused, I never imagined dealing with the target would end up being so troublesome. I wanted to finish this perfectly. In the end, I couldn't even give this away today. For cursed rings of Marriott. I found this ring in the black market while dealing with young Master Lawnet. It has a fascinating story. A story about killing the one you love with your own hands. If the curse is real, she will be by my side in that final moment. I hope her gaze will always be fixed on me. I've wished for this ever since we first met. A few years ago, my lord, what do you mean? The young Duke suffers from social anxiety. You should build a relationship with him. Don't neglect the boy. He says he doesn't like people. He's still just a child. Don't pressure him too much either. This person was the head of the Salvador family, Binessa Akmang Salvador. The butler continued, pressure him. Isn't all of this for the young Duke's sake? Binessa said, as a mother, I know what's best for him. Besides, you don't know, when he grows up, he'll interact with people more easily. Having finished speaking, she was seized by a coughing fit. So standing outside, had seen and heard everything. The head of the family, afflicted with a congenital illness, couldn't foresee the future. The family had only one young heir left. This was a golden opportunity for the mediocre nobles, those who only cared for their own benefit. Though he said nothing, the young duke was deeply worried about the head of the family's health. The butler, looking at So, thought to himself, I know he intends to control the young duke by marrying him off. So it's no wonder the young duke fears people. Then the butler turned to So and said, Young master, isn't it terribly tedious being cooped up inside all the time? I hear Saintess Galix will be visiting the temple today. What do you say to going there? Everyone's eyes will be on her. Or you could simply go sightseeing. This isn't such a bad place for the young master. At the very least, he should leave this place. So thought to himself, what should I do? I don't really want to go out, but the butler genuinely cares about me, so I'll follow his advice. So replied, yes, I understand. Not long after, So arrived at the temple. As he stepped inside, he thought to himself, wow, there's so many people here at the temple. Is it because Saintess Estelle is here? A young girl, noticing So's empty hands, remarked, why don't you have anything in your hands? Didn't you receive a holy relic from the temple? So, puzzled, asked a holy relic. What's that? The girl continued, yeah, if you eat this, your body will be purified and you'll receive God's grace. So's eyes widened at her words. My body will be purified. If mother ate this, maybe her health would recover. He immediately approached a man distributing the holy relics and said, excuse me, may I receive a holy relic? The man offered one to him, saying, of course. I prepared plenty of holy relics at the temple. So happily accepted the holy relic. If only mother had come with me, he thought. I should give this to her when I get home. The man interrupted his train of thought. But you mustn't take this outside the temple. Not eating it after receiving it is the same as stealing grace. Yes, so you must eat it here before leaving. Understand. So hid the holy relic behind his back and replied yes. Then, clutching the holy relic, he ran as fast as he could. I've stolen something, he thought, but if I have this, mother will get better. Lost in his thoughts, he bumped into someone, Saintess Estelle. Fit by, picking up the holy relic, asked, isn't this a holy relic? So stammered, that. Fit by looked at So. You can't take this outside. What are you doing? So was overcome with worry. I'm caught. If they find out I took the holy relic outside, the temple might hold my family responsible. If mother hears that I resorted to stealing, she'll be so disappointed in me. She'll hate me. Mother will hate me. So began to cry. Fitby looked at him, bewildered. Are you crying? Why are you crying while talking to me? Please don't tell the adults. Don't tell. So pleaded. Fitby, flustered, responded, I won't tell, so please stop crying. You'll be noticed more easily if you make a fuss. So replied, but won't you get scolded? Fitby smiled. It's okay. Everyone thinks I'm frail, so they'll just think I need a little rest. But that's a lie. If they find out, they'll be disappointed in you. So pointed out. Fitby paused and said, so what? If other people's expectations cause you suffering, you don't have to meet them. The most important thing isn't anyone else. It'll be fine as long as no one finds out. So thought to himself, the most important thing to me. No one has ever said that to me before. After father died and mother became ill, everyone placed all their expectations on me, the young duke. It's suffocating, but I don't need to meet those expectations. All that matters is that no one finds out. He then remembered the story about Saintess Galix that he'd heard before coming to the temple. Hours earlier, the butler had said to So, have you heard about the extraordinary Saintess Galix? Everyone is amazed because she's much more mature than others her age. Back to the present, Fitby held the holy relic and said, what should we do with this? You snuck it out, but you can't eat it now. You can have it, she offered. So looked at the holy relic, remembering that he had intended to give it to his mother. So I can't eat it. Fitby, looking at him, thought, is he really that hungry? Stealing a little like that probably won't be a problem. Fitby mused, watching So fidget nervously. She leaned on her hand. I was a bit bored back then, but everything's all right now. Whatever happened, it was my doing, and I'll take responsibility. Then she brought a large quantity of the holy relics to So. He stared, bewildered. Is it all right for me to take this much? Fitby reassured him. It's fine, it's fine. It's just bread, well, not really. It's sacred, so there's plenty. Suddenly, a voice called out, Saintess, where are you? Fitby quickly made her exit. I have to go now. Keep our meeting a secret. Okay. So watched Fitby, the saintess, disappear from sight, his gaze unwavering. Could we meet again sometime? He whispered to himself. Back in the present, Fitby's maid asked in surprise, "My lady, did something good happen? You're smiling while looking at that bread." Fitby replied, "I went to the temple. Being in a time of need like this, it reminded me of a boy I met when I was younger. I wonder how he's doing now." The maid commented, "It makes me nostalgic too. I used to take my younger siblings to eat that. I think they even called it a holy relic, and you weren't supposed to take it outside, right?" The temple regularly holds relief efforts to gain favor with the people, and what they hand out is bread. That's why they call it a holy relic. Of course, it's not a real holy relic, it's just bread. Calling it a holy relic is just a lie to prevent theft. "Those stingy priests," Fitby remarked. "By the way, Emily, why is the mansion so strangely quiet today? Did something happen?" Fitby inquired. Emily hesitated. Fitby pressed her. "Are you hiding something from me?" "I promise I'll keep it a secret, so you can tell me," Fitby assured her. Emily spoke anxiously. "The head of the house told me not to say anything, but since you're asking, my lady," well, Fitby was taken aback by the secret her grandfather had insisted on keeping. "The day you returned from the royal palace banquet, the elders came here because of the city's household registration issue." The head of the house was furious. He even drew his sword and chased them away. "I will not allow Estelle's naturalization, no matter what," he said. Fitby was utterly astonished. "What does that mean? Ever since last time, I haven't been able to understand. Why won't he allow Estelle's naturalization? Why are you so fixated on that decision?" Fitby voiced her thoughts aloud. "It's like he's worried about me." Emily quickly countered. "How could he not be worried? It's just a misunderstanding. The head of the house may seem cold, but he always cares about you, my lady." Suddenly, his voice boomed again. "It makes no sense. Princess Galix is being humiliated by such things, and yet we can find nothing. From now on, investigate under the name Galix. No matter what, you must uncover the truth behind these fatal accidents. Fitby is my only granddaughter. I will do everything in my power to protect her." Hearing these words, Fitby thought to herself, he said that. "I'm no longer the saintess, and even murder accusations are affecting the family. Why? Is it because he needs me more than the Galix family? I can't predict his actions, but protecting me using the family is just a temporary measure. I can't just sit still," she resolved. "I have to step forward and find the real culprit." Later, she went to see the crown prince. He greeted her. "So, what is the purpose of your visit?" "Killian, just say it outright. Wasn't your provocation at the banquet meant to draw me to you? Only because you're so easily provoked. What scheme is our former saintess plotting now? And why should I trust you enough to reveal my plans? You could be the true culprit." The prince retorted, "Is that your final conclusion after 10 days of deliberation? That I might be the true culprit? And so you've stormed over here, grabbing me by the collar to demand an explanation?" Fitby placed her teacup down and spoke frankly. "I'm almost certain, someone of high standing, yet I can't find a trace. Your personality is also the type to orchestrate such a situation." Killian asked inquisitively, "Oh, how so?" Fitby replied, "Furthermore, if I were weakened, you would stand to gain quite a bit. Answer me, Killian. Are you the true perpetrator of these incidents? Do you truly believe me capable of such a thing?" "Yes, Killian. You're the most likely suspect." Killian chuckled at her words. He thought to himself, "Fitby, I've been by your side longer than anyone, yet now you suspect me. We've been together for so long, with such a clear bond. There's only one reason why Fitby would suspect me. That damn Sanfata. He's the one who bewitched Fitby with his cunning words. Ever since he appeared 3 years ago, everything changed. At that time, the crown prince had said to Fitby, 'Every emperor in history has had a political spouse. Fitby, I hope it will be the Galix family. Take your time to answer. Consider whether you can truly stand by my side.' But after a long period, there had been no response. After belatedly receiving news of her engagement, I realized Fitby had abandoned me. So that's the reason. Even in this situation, she doesn't come to me. Just like before, has she abandoned me again?" Then the crown prince spoke. "I know how ambitious you are. I know how much effort you've put into everything. There's no reason for you to ruin your life out of jealousy for those victims. Because I understand you so well, I'm certain you're not the true culprit. Besides, the important thing isn't whether I'm the culprit or not, is it?" Fitby asked, perplexed. "Then what is important?" Killian stated, "You can't uncover the truth alone. relying solely on your own strength. With incidents like these occurring, how can you remain idle? Even if you don't directly intervene, you'll still try to clear your name from behind the scenes. But even now, you haven't caught the perpetrator. That means this is beyond your capabilities. Fitby thought to herself, he's sharp. Time to get to the main issue. Aloud, she said, that's true, and the Gaelics family can't resolve this issue either. Therefore, I need the help you mentioned earlier. Killian, help me. Killian laughed. I've lived long enough to finally see the day you bow your head before me. Of course, I'll help. This is why you came to me, isn't it? She thought, go ahead and laugh. This is a trap to catch the real criminal. If I don't want to directly jump into the fray, then I need a mercenary. The person I choose to involve in this fight must have a higher standing than me, with significant influence. Whether I win or lose, they will benefit, because only Killian fits the bill. The Empire's largest festival is held annually, the National Founding Day. The National Founding Day is hosted by the Crown Prince. Important figures all gather there, and the Saintess personally ascends to the peak of the holy grounds and observes the ceremony. I will take advantage of this National Founding Day. If Killian truly is the culprit, I will gather evidence through this National Founding Day. And if Killian isn't the culprit, I can still use him to find the real one. Only I can catch the culprit. But if this plan fails, and I'm seen as the real culprit, Killian will deal with me. He'll deal with the perceived criminal, just as is the principal. And because of that, his position will be elevated. I have nothing left to lose now, so it's extreme. Nada will take the bait, but he's easier to catch than I thought. Killian looked at Fitby. I have a question, he said. Does your fiancé believe you're innocent? Fitby confidently replied, of course. What do you take so for? Killian interrupted. Didn't you say so yourself? The reason you're suspicious is because someone of higher standing than you believes you're innocent. If that's the case, then so is also a potential suspect. Fitby retorted, stop it, Killian. He's my fiancé. How far do you intend to insult him? Killian raised a hand. Fitby, he said, why aren't you even the slightest bit suspicious of someone who always believes in you so completely? Aren't you suspicious of why he hasn't appeared at all in this case? Fitby answered, I'm only his fiancé. He has no obligation to stand up for me, someone not within the blue and red families. Despite saying this, a flicker of worry crossed Fitby's face. Killian's point was valid. Until now, she had only suspected his bodyguard. She hadn't truly considered So as the culprit. To her, So was someone who was always by her side, even in her weakest moments. It felt wrong to doubt him so easily. I don't want to suspect So right now, she finally said. The Crown Prince chuckled. For someone under suspicion like myself, those words sting a bit. Fitby frowned. If you feel wronged, then just live honestly like So. Killian looked at her, thinking unbelievable. She doesn't suspect the Duke at all. How irritating. So Ackman Sanfata. I don't know what sweet words he used to bewitch Fitby, but she doesn't need an escort. She needs someone with power, someone who can share her ambitions. That's me, not So. I will fulfill Fitby's ambitions. That bastard, with nothing she wants, occupies the position of my fiancé. As a friend, before I become the one to fulfill Fitby's ambitions, if there's someone unsuitable lingering around her like that, I have to separate them. Then Killian spoke. I'll help you. As I said before, I'll help you on one condition. Fitby asked, of course. What do you want? So Ackman Sanfata. Break off your engagement with him. That's my only condition. Fitby reacted strongly, rising to her feet. Are you out of your mind? Why that condition? The Gaelics family's eastern mining and trade rights, even requesting soldiers, would be more beneficial to you. What do you gain from me breaking off my engagement? Killian replied, let's see. I hate you being bound by blue and red. Then, Fitby boarded her carriage and departed. As she rode, she pondered, what is he really planning? Breaking off my engagement with So. I was going to flee to another empire anyway, so I was planning to do that someday. But why would Killian make such a demand? Even though I don't know his purpose, to cooperate with him, I have to follow his will. There's no other way. I can only agree to Killian's condition. If I stay by So's side while he's rumored to be a murderer, his reputation will only worsen. Breaking off the engagement early would be better for him. As Fitby entered her residence, a man approached her, saying, the mansion is in such an uproar, and you've been out and about. Fitby was surprised to see him. Count Norbert, she acknowledged. He was the head of the Gaelics elders. Count Norbert was the count who vehemently wanted Estelle's naturalization in the original story. He was one of the people who contributed to Fitby's expulsion. If he's come here directly, it can only be related to Estelle. Fitby bowed in greeting. I went to the Imperial Palace by carriage for some business. Did something happen while I was away? Count Norbert clicked his tongue. The whole country is in an uproar about the princess, and yet you're out leisurely. All right, it's good that you're still young, isn't it? Surely, that's not the reason you've caused a national uproar. Fitby replied, Count, you flatter me. I greatly admire my grandfather's spirit, and I learn from him and stay away from foolish people who are greedy and arrogant. Hearing this, Count Norbert angrily shouted, Princess, are you insulting me? Fitby calmly replied, Not at all. I'm just talking about some people in the aristocracy who don't set a good example. Count Norbert was furious but held his tongue, having no retort. He thought to himself, what an arrogant brat. Fitby could clearly see his thoughts. Count Norbert bellowed again, Princess, you are completely unaware of the current situation. Estelle Euler is trying to claim she's not the saintess. She not only refused naturalization, but also the baptism ritual. Why has she suddenly become like this? You two must have had an argument at the banquet. Princess, how will you take responsibility for this situation? Fitby was perplexed. Why is Estelle trying to deny being the saintess? By now, she should have accepted her naturalization and her role as the saintess. Unless, at the banquet, did she follow me and see me summon the constellations? If so, I understand. She must think I am the saintess, which is why she's denying it herself. But if she continues to refuse her role as the saintess, Estelle won't be able to awaken her divine powers before the disaster arrives. Estelle has a naturally low affinity for mana, so she needs the baptism ritual to enhance it. To confront the approaching disaster, Estelle's power is essential. Fitby then pointed to a nearby servant and said, Prepare to go to the Euler residence immediately. I must go directly to Miss Estelle. The Count was surprised. You're going there now. Princess, you still don't understand the situation. The whole country is calling you a rare villainess. Even if you intervene, it will only worsen public opinion. Fitby replied, That's why I want to step forward. Count Norbert looked bewildered. Why? What reason? Fitby declared resolutely, Because I am at the center of this issue. Therefore, I'm also the one who will end it. If not, people will just keep gossiping. If you understand, then I'll be going. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out. Fitby stopped. I won't allow you to see Estelle Euler. Seeing him arrive, Count Norbert said, The Duke has arrived. It seems Lady Fitby is determined to go through with this. Does she even realize she's the heir to the Galix family? Unbelievable. The Duke's voice became stern and laced with anger. Count Norbert, return home. I don't want to be interrupted while speaking with my niece. Count Norbert, hearing this, became flustered, his mind racing with worry. Lately, there have been rumors that the Duke is taking advantage of Lady Fitby. But the Duke, usually indifferent, is taking her side like this. It's best I leave now. He then bowed his head low. I have overstepped. My apologies. Please, the two of you, speak freely. After Count Norbert left, the Duke turned to his niece. It seems you have much to say to me. Speak your mind. Fitby replied, Do you also think I threatened Estelle? The Duke said, That is not important. No matter where you go, they will nip and tear at you. In times like these, you shouldn't give them anything more to feed on. If you go there now, the malicious rumors will only spread further. Fitby responded, I will meet with Miss Estelle directly and persuade her. If Estelle accepts the purification ritual, the rumors surrounding me will disappear. The Duke asked, And what if you fail to persuade her? What will be the consequences if I allow you to go? That is why I cannot permit you to leave. My answer remains the same. The Duke turned away, a hint of sadness in his eyes. Too much time has passed for me to suddenly act as her protector. But Fitby is facing many dangers. The only thing I can do in this situation is to keep her under the protection of the family. Fitby paused and asked why. Surprised, the Duke turned back. What? Fitby continued. Why are you shielding me now? These rumors are nothing compared to what I faced when I was younger. Times so painful and tiring that I couldn't bear it. I had no one beside me. I don't understand why you're protecting me like this. Until now, you never cared about me. From the beginning, it wasn't that I didn't trust you. This happened before Estelle appeared. A servant attempted to assassinate the Saintess. She was taken away, and you arrested all the other servants involved. But in the end, you never once visited me in the infirmary. Even if you treat me well now, a person like you, the days you turned your back on me keep flashing back, and I begin to doubt your sincerity. The Duke paused, then spoke. I understand why you're angry with me, but if you step forward now, the family won't be able to protect you. Fitby replied, Then you should have done this sooner. If you had, I wouldn't have thought of leaving this place. Suddenly, Killian demands that I break off my engagement with So. Then Estelle declares she isn't the Saintess, and you suddenly start protecting me. Everything is happening at once. It's not that I can't guess why. It's because I'm not the Fitby from Flower of the Monster. In Flower of the Monster, Fitby committed countless atrocities. That's why Killian and Almas turned their backs on her. When I was young, he caught me red-handed throwing eggs at his carriage. That's how he learned my true nature. It seems like that's when our relationship started to change. Perhaps it was because of my actions that he gradually changed too. It's not that I don't understand, but why now? When I was little, part of me always thought about going far away. Another part of me thought about staying here. Because I've been transported here, the novel's plot won't unfold normally, right? Even after Stella appeared, I might still be able to live as the Duchess of Galix. So I won't be hated by anyone. I used to think that if I lived a clean life, everything would be fine. Me, Almas, and Killian. A cold man who never reached out to me. A friend who turned his back on me at the moment I trusted him the most. It was because of those two that my decision to leave here was solidified. I thought I had forgotten everything, but whenever I think about that day, I feel nauseous. It all started 3 years ago, the day the Crown Prince was invested. I knew Killian would become the Crown Prince. Looking back, it feels strange. I wonder if I felt closer to Killian back then. At that time, the Crown Prince said, "Every emperor needs a political partner, Fitby. I hope it's the Galix family." The position of Empress. Killian proposed it to me. I came here today for him to hear my answer. If it were Killian, even if he later discovered I wasn't the Saintess, he would still stay by my side. Someone who sees me for who I am, not for my status as the Saintess. If I had someone like that by my side, even if I didn't leave this place, it wouldn't matter. If Killian heard my answer, if I had someone like that by my side, even if I didn't leave this place, it wouldn't matter. Just then, Fitby heard voices from inside the room. I heard His Highness has a special relationship with the Duchess of Galix. Does His Highness really care for her? Isn't it just because she's the Saintess? He's marrying her for the benefit of the nation. If her value drops, then His Highness's affection will also decrease. This situation is just like back then. When she was young, Fitby was so surprised she couldn't say a word and ran away. But now, she wasn't a child anymore. After that, Fitby went inside and said, "Is this amusing? Could you tell me more about that?" The people there worried, "Your Highness, that has nothing to do with you." Fitby replied, "How could it not? I clearly remember that face close to His Highness. The Keogh family of the council, the eldest son of the Everjune family. Both are His Highness's closest confidants. And because those words came from the mouths of such people, they can't be taken lightly. Marquis Everjune, please relay a message to Killian for me. If His Highness sees me as a tool, we will never be together." After Fitby left, the worried people said, "What should we do? What if His Highness finds out about this?" That's right, we just need to stay silent. Just pretend this never happened. His Highness hasn't been seen in a while. Fitby thought to herself, "I'm too late." Because she appeared at the investiture ceremony, I thought she would give me an answer. Should I wait a little longer? I didn't leave the mansion that day either. One day, I heard something from Mullen. Mullen, seeing her like that, said, "Miss, are you just going to stay home like this?" Fitby replied, "I'm tired of everything. I won't see anyone for a while, you know." Mullen sighed and said, "If that's how you feel, then I have no other choice. Come to think of it, I heard that your fiancé will be coming to the capital." Fitby, hearing this, was startled. What? I had planned to stay home for a while, but I didn't expect my fiancé to arrive at this time. So the fiancé my family chose. Because he's constantly on the battlefield, we haven't been able to meet. Even though he's someone I admire, Fitby, on principle, has to be cautious. Because this is the first time we'll meet face to face. Just then, so hastily ran over. "I'm so sorry. Am I late?" I spoke a little too loudly, didn't I? Seeing his flustered expression, Fitby smiled and said, "I just arrived as well." That's a relief. At first, I only came here out of obligation, but the more we talked, the more his innocent demeanor put me at ease. Unlike the tiring conversations with other nobles, meeting so makes me feel much more relaxed. Come to think of it, whenever I'm tired, so is always the one to comfort me. I miss him so much. Even though it's a little late now, should I leave him a message in the news? No, so left this letter. The contents of the letter are as follows. Fitby, I miss you so much. That's why I'm writing this letter. After dinner, I drank some Louis Vuitton tea and suddenly thought of you. We drank this tea on the day we first met. Fitby replied to the letter, "It just so happens I was also reminiscing about the day we first met. It was 3 years ago. The first time you came to the capital. Do you remember?" So replied, "I haven't forgotten any of the moments I've spent with you. We rented a cafe on the outskirts of the capital to meet. It was around 3 o'clock. The inside of the cafe was decorated with lilies and gardenias. You remember the details so well. Do you remember how flustered you were that day? So replied, I didn't know you remembered that. How could I forget? You even asked me if I liked cake, but I was too clumsy to answer. So thought to himself, I was quite clumsy back then. But when I learned that the person my family had arranged for me to marry was the saintess, I couldn't contain my joy. Continuing to reply to the letter, now, I can answer your questions well. Fitby curiously asked, so, why did you write to me today? He's not answering. Maybe he's flustered. I was just kidding. I went a little too far. I should write back and say I was just joking. Just then, so suddenly replied, because I'm worried about you. What should I reply? This is what I wanted to hear. So continued, even though I can't help you with anything, I still wanted to check on you. I miss him so much. I want to see, so right now. So, I'll be in the garden. If you hear this song, please come outside. I'm forbidden from leaving, so it's difficult to get away from the manor. Coincidentally, today is a good day to call. Pisces, Alexa. Pisces, Alexa, present. It's been a while since I've been to the human world. I don't know how long I've waited for your call. How can I help you? Fitby replied, I need your power to accomplish anything. There's somewhere I need to go. So, seeing Fitby's message, was surprised. Could she be planning to come to the Red Hunting Lodge? The sun has long set. The Duke of Galix is very strict, so there's bound to be a curfew. So turned to his butler and said, Butler, don't let the servants wander the halls. She's not one to joke around. She actually came here to this place just to see me. Then, so opened the door and was utterly astonished. Fitby truly appeared before him. What do you think of tonight's nocturne? So knelt down and kissed Fitby's hand. It's like a dream. I was a bit rushed in preparing, so there might be some shortcomings, but I'll make you as comfortable as possible. It's cold, so please wear this first. The air is still chilly because the heating was just turned on. Fitby replied, no, it might be because I came unexpectedly. Then, turning away, she said, please sit down here and wait while I bring you a drink. Thank you, so. Alisha, at her side, remarked, that man didn't ask how you got here so quickly, did he? Fitby thought to herself, if he had asked how I got here without a carriage, I was going to explain about this ability. But so didn't ask anything. He just welcomed me warmly. He clearly has a lot of questions. It's probably because he cares about me. Pisces, thank you for bringing me here. Alexa replied, if it's about connecting something, I'm quite confident. Just call me. So then approached. A drink will do you good. Fitby then said, so come sit down too. You've been busy running around. Just then, the butler's voice rang out. Master, so, I brought the things you requested. Just in time. Bring them in. So's servants, overhearing, entered as well. I brought a blanket for the lady. I'll take care of the coat. And here are some desserts to enjoy with the wine. Fitby, bewildered, asked, so what is all this? So explained, it's rather lonely here. So, in case you stayed, I had the servants prepare. Are you pleased? Fitby smiled and said, it's very comfortable. I could probably live here forever. You thought of me and prepared everything. I didn't know when you might come, but I held on to the hope. I collected things one by one for the day you would arrive, and before I knew it, it was quite a lot. I'm so glad you're here. So I can keep all of this. Of course. That's why I prepared it. All this jewelry is for you. Take it all. I also like that painting. And all the books on the shelves, too. I'll have the servants move everything tomorrow. Fitby picked up a teddy bear and asked, you even have this teddy bear? So replied, I'm glad you like it. Fitby leaned against So and said, if I ask for something, will you give it to me no matter what? So replied, because you want it. If I can comfort you in any way, then you can have everything I own. Fitby asked, did you know I was going to ask for something? So embraced Fitby, his voice thick with emotion. Anything at all. My status, my finances, even myself. I'd gladly give you everything. I want to close the distance between us. You always seem to hold back. I always feel pushed away. But now, you've come to me at my lowest point. These words I haven't been able to say. This is my chance. I don't want to lose it. He continued, his voice softer now. So ask for anything. Seeing him like this, Fitby thought, in this moment, he's offering me unconditional love. And I want to abandon everything and lean on it. Right now, all I need is the slightest touch to bridge the gap between us. But this can't become a tragedy, she thought, steeling herself. I'm sorry, So. I can't do it. So looked at her, bewildered. Why? Am I not good enough? It's not that, Fitby replied, her voice catching. No one could care for me the way you do. But maybe it won't always be this way. You're a good person, So. I want you to be happy. Fitby, So said, his voice low, you don't have to rely on me. We could be friends. Fitby responded, things are too precarious right now. If I leaned on you now, I wouldn't be sure if I was just using you as a refuge. He spoke earnestly. quietly. If things get better between us, could you reconsider? Fitby paused, then said quietly, I understand. After Fitby left, So reflected, the irony bitter in his mouth. The person who holds the key to my happiness is pushing me away from my own happiness. I need to bring that person here. I have to meet with the rebels. Meanwhile, Fitby was lost in her own thoughts. Last night was dangerous. How could I take advantage of So like that? It would be just like Killian. No. Besides, I've never seen So like that before. I couldn't refuse him outright, so I said I understood. But that just gives him false hope. I'm going to leave anyway. Still, because of what happened today, I've made up my mind. Her maid entered the room. I prepared warm water for you to wash your face, my lady. Thank you, Emily, Fitby replied. And please send this letter to the Crown Prince with a message. Tell him to visit as soon as possible. I won't let things play out according to his plan. That arrogant nobleman daring to tell me I'm the only one for him. Fitby laughed. As you can see, in this situation, I can't leave the mansion. If he wants to see me, the Crown Prince has no choice but to come here himself. The Crown Prince's voice echoed in her mind. So you summoned me here. Does this mean you've accepted my terms from before? Fitby walked over and spoke. The founding festival will be held in 2 days. The saintess is supposed to light the torch, but she keeps refusing. Not only the temple, but even the royal family, who are hosting, are in a difficult position. Isn't that right? And the one presiding over the festival is you, Killian. The Crown Prince asked, intrigued, what are you suggesting? Fitby continued, I'll resolve that problem. But as you know, no help comes without a price. Let's change the terms of our deal. In exchange for my help, instead of breaking off the engagement, I'll help you resolve the founding festival issue. The Crown Prince, Killian, turned away, saying, you went to all this trouble just to prevent the engagement from being broken off, didn't you? Fitby spoke up, it seems you misunderstand. I will break off the engagement, but I hope you won't interfere in our affairs. This is a matter between us. And it's also a condition that doesn't disadvantage you. Killian looked at her, thinking, clever girl. At first glance, Fitby's condition seemed better than his own. Initially, she was the one asking for a favor, but now she's perfectly taken control of this negotiation. Indeed, otherwise, it would seem like I'm the one asking for the favor. But Estelle keeps refusing to participate in the torch lighting ceremony. So, the royal family's credibility has plummeted. We can't rely on speculation. We need a method to persuade her to participate in the festival. Then Fitby offered a strained smile. If that's the case, don't worry. I can guess why Estelle is acting this way. Estelle refuses all visitors, but she'll be willing to listen to me. So, I'm sure I can persuade her. I'm certain of it. I'm the only one who can resolve this. Killian covered his face with his hands. Tell me your plan to catch the culprit. The conversation after that went on for a while. In short, it's a trap. It's not too difficult, since the culprit's methods are always the same. Killian voiced his thoughts. They're all people who have offended you. That's right, Fitby replied. Everyone's attention is currently focused on me and Estelle. A misunderstanding arose from the royal banquet. Our relationship isn't good. There are rumors that the reason Estelle denies being the saintess is because I threatened her. If Estelle participates in a large festival now, how will the culprit react? Killian said, we'll deploy people to raid the scene immediately. Because of the large crowd, it'll be difficult to identify the culprit, and it would be easy to frame you as the perpetrator. Fitby continued, this is a good opportunity. Estelle will go to the cathedral as planned and light the torch. And I'll be there too. Are you crazy? Do you think that's even possible? The rule has always been that only one person lights the torch. Isn't that why I'm involving you? The Crown Prince is the host of the founding festival. Killian interrupted. If it were anything else, it might work, but this won't. This torch lighting law is stipulated by the temple. Fitby said, you just need to make an announcement. Remember, everything related to the torch will be kept secret until the founding festival. On that day, make sure Estelle is brought to the holy grounds. Secretly deploy people throughout the holy grounds in case the culprit appears. If, as we predict, the culprit appears and attacks Estelle, we must have troops waiting to apprehend them. This is the plan that will be revealed. No one will know the constellation power I possess, and this is the variable the culprit won't anticipate. I'll use this power to catch them. So, Fitby asked, folding her arms. What do you think? Killian replied, even if I had an opinion, I'm in no mood to listen. Well, do as you say, Fitby. The battle had begun. All that remained was to be granted permission to leave. The Duke so approached and asked Thitbai, what was the Crown Prince doing here? Thitbai worriedly contemplated sneaking out of the mansion to meet So. Since it would only be for a short time, she thought she could get away with it. The founding festival, a grand, day-long celebration, was approaching. To be able to accompany Estelle to the festival, she needed to be free to leave. Then Thitbai spoke up. He just came to see an old friend. Just a brief chat, grandfather. Her grandfather responded softly. A chat, you say? I see. Thitbai rallied her courage. I should ask permission, shouldn't I, she thought. After their previous argument, this was the first time they'd had a proper conversation. With this atmosphere, I can forget about getting permission to go out. I can barely even look him in the eye, she thought, feeling overwhelmed. Thitbai bowed her head respectfully. I'll go back to my room now, grandfather. There's no other way than to sneak into Estelle's mansion, she mused. Then I'll have to rely on the power of the constellations. Suddenly, her grandfather spoke. Do you have anything special to do this evening? Let's have dinner together. That evening, they finally shared a meal. I wanted a chance to talk to him too, but I didn't expect him to suggest it first, Thitbai thought. Her grandfather wiped his mouth and said, Thitbai, you intend to see Estelle, don't you? You even summoned Crown Prince Killian here for that reason, didn't you? Thitbai felt a surge of anxiety, but she told herself to stay calm. There's no way he knows about the plan for the founding festival. It can't be that easy. I'll tell the truth, but I'll lie about the important parts. It'll be difficult for him to notice. Then she spoke. I complained to the Crown Prince. I still want to see Estelle, but I don't want to do anything that worries you, grandfather. The Duke looked at Thitbai. I don't intend to scold you. Even when everyone around you thought it was impossible and tried to dissuade you, you never gave up if you wanted something. That stubbornness, you're just like your father. Your grandmother always tried to reason with him, always with kind words. Don't do anything dangerous. Your safety isn't just your own. At least if you need help, tell your family. Back then, I couldn't understand why my wife kept repeating the same things. But after he was gone, I deeply regretted not expressing my concern for him. In that moment of despair, I found you. In an overturned carriage after an accident, a newborn infant surviving. It was a miracle. I thought it was a second chance, granted by God. I swore I would protect you. But when you were in danger, I couldn't help you, not even once. However, if you stay in the mansion, the family can protect you until the public outcry dies down. So, can you give me a chance to protect you? Thitbai hesitated, speechless. This had never happened in Flower Monster. It was the first time her grandfather had shown such raw grief. I still can't forgive him, she thought, but I want to respond honestly to match the sincerity he's showing. Then Thitbai spoke. I intend to leave the Empire. The Duke was stunned. Leave? Are you planning to go into exile? He asked. Thitbai replied, I've been thinking about this for a long time. I'll go to the Sage Empire of Magic. I've been studying both divine power and magic. I had originally intended to leave without a word, but if it's now, I'll give you some notice. The Duke lifted his hand and grasped his chin. Only now do I learn of your support for Estelle's naturalization, or that you would so easily relinquish your position as the Saintess. It's all because I'm leaving this place. I can't find happiness here. The Duke spoke quietly. It seems your mind is made up. Even if I try to hold you back, it won't do any good. Do as you wish. Thitbai responded brightly. So that means I can go see Estelle. The Duke looked at Thitbai. It wouldn't be good if the public found out, so I'll make it appear as though I'm the one visiting. But it won't be easy to see her. Estelle, Thitbai replied, I've heard the rumors. That Estelle doesn't allow outsiders to visit her. Everyone knows that, but there's no reason a young lady who's just made her debut could react so quickly. Like how you were protected in the mansion. Count Gillette is protecting Estelle in a similar manner. The Countess is furious right now. Without even discussing it with me, she blurted out those words. Do you know what you've done, Estelle? You must beg forgiveness from the temple and retract your statement. Estelle replied, I apologize for not discussing it with you, uncle, but I have no intention of retracting my statement, because I am not the Saintess. When I was 10, I got lost in the forest. Is anyone there? This is no good. I can't find my way out. I have to get back before dark. I was wandering along the forest path, trying to find my way home when I saw it. I had only heard stories about it. I had to run, but my legs wouldn't move. Surprisingly, I could sense the mana of these monsters. Do you want to help me? The fear I felt when I first saw the monster suddenly vanished. I followed the path they showed me and safely reached the entrance to the village. I wasn't mistaken at the banquet. Those blue shapes that the princess summoned were clearly welcoming her happily, just like the day I met the monster. Perhaps the princess hasn't realized her own power yet. So, before she learns the truth, I can't be the saintess. Estelle spoke to her uncle. The princess is the true subject of the prophecy. The count frowned. Estelle, right now, Princess Thitbai is nothing. The duke is firmly protecting her. At this rate, she'll smoothly become a duchess. Next, but that's all. A princess who loses her position as saintess and becomes a duchess will be ridiculed. So, Estelle, you must restore the honor of the Duchy of Galix, which has been damaged by your actions as the saintess. Estelle firmly replied, I saw it. The princess has a special power. Clearly, there's been a mistake somewhere. The count responded, even so, the fact that you are the subject of the prophecy doesn't change. The power you possess isn't that proof. Estelle hesitated. The count continued. You think the true saintess is Thitbai. It's as if you're turning your back on the temple and the royal family, who declared you the saintess. Besides the rumors of the princess's murders, she's also committed the sin of blasphemy. What are you asking me to wait for, Estelle? Stop sullying Galix's name any further. Until you change your mind, you are forbidden from leaving this mansion. Estelle still tried to call after her uncle, Count Gillette. Just then, a servant opened the door from outside and announced, Count, you must come at once. Count Gillette turned back to Estelle. Furthermore, the temple has sent representatives to attend the founding festival. The servant continued, they're calling for Tyler, Count. Duke Galix himself is here. Soon after, the count went to greet the duke. Your Grace, what brings you here personally? The duke replied, I've heard from my granddaughter. It seems Lady Estelle has mistaken her for the saintess. What I mean is she saw Thitbai in the dark and assumed she was using divine power. My granddaughter couldn't possibly appear herself, so I had no choice but to come directly. Would you take me to speak with the lady directly? The count, pleased, replied, of course, Your Grace. I'll take you right away. To himself, the count mused, perhaps I can leverage my Galix connection sooner than expected. Moments later, the duke entered to meet the saintess. Saintess, he began, do you know why I'm here? Estelle, perplexed, asked, what do you mean? At that moment, Thitbai, in her true form, revealed herself. Actually, it's me, Thitbai. If I came looking like myself, Estelle's uncle would have stopped me at the door. So I borrowed your appearance for a bit. The saintess gasped, utterly astonished. I knew I wasn't mistaken that day. Thitbai quickly covered Estelle's mouth. Shoo, you're too loud. They'll hear us. Estelle, her mouth agape, asked, what was that transformation just now? Thitbai replied, it's a bit complicated to explain. It's the borrowed power of the constellations, a kind of magic and divine power combined. I borrowed the power of Gemini to create an illusion. Estelle stared at her. Princess, you speak of it so casually, but that's an incredible power. Especially to me, someone who knows nothing of magic. Anyway, the saintess is you, Princess, not me. Thitbai said, so you did see me at the banquet that day. Estelle anxiously explained, I didn't mean to see you. Thitbai shook her head. I'm not blaming you, Estelle. It was a misunderstanding. There are others besides me who can manipulate the constellations. You can find them at the temple. But Estelle, you're the only one who can control monsters. If not you, then who is the saintess? Thitbai stammered, I don't know. No matter how I think about it, I'm not worthy of being the saintess. You say that power is nothing special, but very few can wield both magic and divine power. If you revealed this, people would stop criticizing you, and some might even believe you are the true saintess, just like I did. Even so, you're still hiding your power. Please, Princess, tell the truth. Thitbai's voice dropped. There's no other way. The truth is, I don't intend to go into exile. Estelle was shocked. What do you mean? Thitbai continued, Estelle, you're right. With this power, I'd be welcomed anywhere, and I could even reclaim my position as saintess. But if this power is discovered, the Empire won't let me leave so easily. Both the temple and the royal family would use me. That's why I've decided to leave. I'm tired of this life of being used, Estelle thought wearily. Until now, I thought Princess Thitbai still hadn't realized her own power, and I've been unjustly forced out of my position as saintess. But you're the one who understands your power more than anyone, Estelle said sadly. However, I still don't know if I'm even suited to be the saintess. You've built up the saintess's reputation for so long, only to be pulled down in a single moment. I'm truly useless in this position. It's terrifying. Thitbai reached out and took Estelle's hand. The issue isn't whether you're suited for this position or not. Estelle, you are the saintess. I want to see you become a magnificent saintess and see you face the continent's disaster head on. No matter what anyone says, that truth won't change. Estelle, believe me, up until now, I've only thought about running away from responsibility. That's why I'm certain you are the saintess, not the saintess of the prophecy. I don't want the attention. I just want to go back to how things were before. Estelle wiped away her tears. You're right. I shouldn't keep running from this truth. I won't avoid my responsibility anymore. Because of that day, I've decided to stand by your side. I'll attend the founding ceremony, and I'll go to the temple for the baptism. I will become the saintess of this empire. Good, Thitbai said. Before that, I have a plan. It's been a while, hasn't it? Comme ça tient how? You know, Merlin, Thitbai said, I haven't been able to move freely lately because of my family's control. The most powerful person in the Bag Hoi is like that. So what am I supposed to do? You're so capable. I'm sure you've taken care of everything. Thanks. I couldn't stay away for that long either. Mullen scratched his head. Well, if it wasn't me, who else would it be? Did you know I was surprised when I heard the news? I heard you went to Miss Estelle to cooperate. It seems you mentioned that plan. Thitbai replied, because I've decided to become the bait to catch the culprit. I had to do it. And she needed to know the truth, too. A few hours earlier, Estelle had spoken. Even if it's to catch the culprit, becoming the bait yourself is too reckless. Thitbai explained, I know it's truly dangerous. I'll take responsibility for Estelle's safety. Estelle quickly interrupted, that's too hasty. Compared to you, I may not be as capable, but I at least don't want to become a hindrance. Just focus on catching the culprit. I'll ensure my own safety. Back in the present, Thitbai continued walking as she spoke. When she first arrived in the capital, I thought she was just a child. I never imagined she'd think that way. Mullen replied, it's nothing special. Oh, Thitbai questioned. Mullen grinned. If it were before, you would have handled everything yourself without telling anyone the truth. Thitbai thought to herself, thinking back, if it were me before, I would have shouldered everything because I didn't think there was anyone I could trust. Should I trust them? I can't let my guard down just because things have been going well these past few days. Besides, I still have things to take care of. Then she spoke aloud. Merlin, have you looked into the matter I asked you about? Mullen replied confidently, of course. Although it's quite difficult, I am the leader of the Zodiac Guild. I've gathered all the information. The time from now until the founding ceremony is a little over a week. The most unpredictable person, there is none other than young Master Lawns. Even if I were there myself, I wouldn't be certain I could both catch the culprit and prevent Lawns' death. The person I dealt with before disappeared after the party, and the assassin who took the bounty just comes and goes every day. The guild is handling this, but it's difficult to track someone we know nothing about, except that he spends his time with women. Thanks to that, I've been watching him like a hawk. So, Thitbai reassured me, don't worry, today's the last day. Although it's a bit sad, we'll let young Master Lawns go into exile first. Mullen questioned, exile. Thitbai continued, Merlin, report the areas where the murders occurred. Mullen raised a finger, saying, let's see, Rosa, Villain, Helios. And could it be? Thitbai finished his thought, exactly. Rosa, Villain, Helios. They all happened around the capital. Merlin mused, so the culprit's target is within the capital. Thitbai continued, therefore, if young Master Lawns leaves the capital, he can escape the culprit's target. Merlin wondered, but how do we get him to leave? He's always hiding behind his father. Thitbai crossed her arms. That's why I said to keep watching young Master Lawns. His personal life isn't exactly clean, and they're always suppressing rumors about him, changing women like he changed his clothes. But what would happen if that information were spread somewhere important? I mean, at the evening party. Duchess Parincha's evening party is held annually, and it's where young couples about to be married gather to receive congratulations and advice from the Duchess. Merlin added, according to the information, young Master Lawns will definitely be there. Events like these have a positive impact on his image. Thitbai sighed, then said, I guess he overestimates his father's position. That's why he dares to attend such grand parties. Duchess Parincha's standing in high society is incredibly strong. If the secrets young Master Lawns has been hiding are revealed there, the Count naturally won't be able to protect his son anymore. They won't even be able to survive in high society. Let him learn that he can't hide behind his father forever. I'm finally feeling motivated to work. The scene shifts to another location. Young couples promising their love will be delighted to attend today's party, celebrating the upcoming founding anniversary, and may God bless everyone. Thitbai said, thank you for coming with me. So smiled. I just feel bad that I can't spend the whole day with you. It's a shame I have unfinished business. I suppose I can't escort you all the way to the mansion. Thitbai said awkwardly, it's my fault for calling you so suddenly. She looked at him, thinking to herself, come to think of it, this is the first time we've met. Since that day, until now, I thought he was just the fiancé my family chose. But after knowing what So thinks of me, it's not the same. It's It's so much more nerve-wracking. Suddenly, someone approached. Lady Estelle, fancy meeting you here. The newcomer was Count Gillette. So, I was wondering, this is the first time I've met you. Are you a friend of Fitby's? Fitby, speak up. I'll introduce you. This is my friend, Count Gillette, and this is his fiancée, Lady Cordelia. They were the ones who sent me the invitation to tonight's party. Gillette smiled and said, Duke Perentia, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you from the Duchess. Fitby quickly interrupted. Don't you have something to tell me? Fitby thought to herself. I told him not to play these pointless jokes. The man called Gillette was, in reality, Merlin in disguise. Earlier, Fitby had suggested creating a false identity for him. What's the big deal? Mullen replied, My lady, perhaps because you see this precious face of mine every day, you don't realize that appearing at a grand event like this as the head of the Zodiac Information Guild is rather difficult. It's like announcing to everyone that I'm the guild leader. Why not let me use my skills and sneak in as usual? Fitby raised a hand to stop him. In this case, simply sneaking in won't do. We need someone close by to create the situation we desire. Mullen seemed to realize something. So, if you're asking for a particular lady or friend, I don't think there's anyone like that. Fitby agreed. That's right, Merlin said dejectedly. Even if my face were plastered across the Imperial Square, I would still attend. Fitby spoke up. If that's the problem you're talking about, don't worry. We've already found someone to help us. When she saw the constellation of Gemini appear beside her, she was so startled she nearly fell backward. Gillette gestured in another direction. They're serving the petit fours you were looking for over there. Fitby looked over, thinking to herself, that's Lon's fiancée, Duchess Ibria. She's the eldest daughter and heir to the ducal family. Due to their declining status, she had to marry the son of the influential Lannister family. Merlin moved closer to Fitby. It seems they've noticed us as well. Lons approached them. Well, if it isn't the rumored princess, the murderess. I can't believe you'd show your face at a party like this, acting all high and mighty like the Duchess of Sandor. So, bristling with anger, retorted, what did you say? Fitby quickly intervened. It's all right. Leave him to me. It's strange, isn't it? I never expected young Master Lons to speak like that. The most unwelcome person here is none other than young Master Lons himself. Lons, enraged, sputtered, what are you talking about? Fitby replied, this is a party for couples. And you change partners like you change clothes. You don't belong here. Lons, furious but trying to maintain composure, said, I have no idea what you're talking about. Surely a noble princess like yourself wouldn't believe such ridiculous rumors. Fitby responded, I'm not swayed by rumors. I only believe what I see with my own eyes. Those nearby who overheard her chuckled. Fitby continued, I can't help but believe it, since young Master Lons once proposed to me. Lons was utterly furious, but what could he do? Yes, young Master Lons, feeling insecure before so, tried to seduce me to become his. The rumors about the Count's philandering are actually true. Fitby asked incredulously. Perhaps you wouldn't know, young Master Lons, since you rarely attend these sorts of gatherings. You've been relentlessly pursuing me, despite the fact I'm engaged, to the point where practically everyone is aware of it. After this, Fitby continued, her voice laced with steel, I believe you, and I should have a serious conversation, young master. Lons, a flicker of unease in his eyes, stammered, isn't all that in the past now? His fiancée, standing beside him, tugged at his sleeve. Lons, let's go. We're attracting far too much attention. She turned to Fitby, her voice smooth and practiced. My fiancé has been indiscreet. Please accept my apologies on his behalf. Lons bristled. The apology should be directed at me. His fiancée's expression remained unchanged. Causing a scene here won't benefit anyone. Isn't that what your father instructed? This is an important event. Let's end this quickly. Lons's thoughts raced. She's right. Just get through today, marry this woman, become a duke. He turned to leave, tossing a parting shot over his shoulder. Since my fiancé insists, I'll take my leave. But you won't be able to hold your head high like this forever. Fitby watched him go, her eyes narrowed. I'll repay you in kind, Lons. Just you wait. Your secrets will be revealed for all to see. Suddenly, a woman approached Lons. He started, surprised. Camilla, what are you doing here? After his unpleasant exchange with Fitby, Lons had sought out his mistress, leaving his fiancée behind. Whispers rippled through the party. That woman, isn't she? The Empire's disgrace, here again. He brought his mistress to a formal evening party. Fitby observed the scene, her mind working furiously. I knew young Master Lawns was foolish, but I didn't realize he was this reckless. Abandoning his fiancée to rush off with his mistress. It only fuels the suspicions surrounding him. 3 of you follow young Master Lawns. Fitby instructed her subordinates. Things have escalated, and there's likely to be a significant confrontation. Follow them and intervene if necessary. So asked, what about you? I'll go after Lady Massa, Fitby replied. I want to follow Lawns, she thought, but the loneliness in this glittering ballroom. I know it all too well. Suddenly, tid binotiched Massa. Massa sank onto a nearby chair, tears welling in her eyes. We're both ladies, yet look at the state of me. Are you here to mock me? Fitby sat beside her. I'm constantly under scrutiny, branded a murderer. I'm hardly in a position to mock anyone. Massa retorted, if you're here to offer pity, I'll politely decline. Fitby offered her a handkerchief. Aiding those in distress is a noble virtue I was taught to uphold. It seems you lack a handkerchief to dry your tears. Massa accepted the offered cloth, murmuring, thank you. My emotions are rather turbulent at the moment, so I apologize for my earlier harshness. Fitby replied gently, it's understandable. Anyone in your situation would likely react similarly. Massa continued, young Master Lawns. I always assumed he cared about appearances, about maintaining his reputation, so I never interfered in his life. That woman, he brought her to the Count's mansion. Meanwhile, Lawns's voice boomed across the room. Camilla, what are you doing here? Camilla retorted, I have ears, you know. No need to shout. In fact, I should be asking you that question. This invitation wasn't sent by me, was it? Lawns muttered, taking the letter with a startled expression. This is definitely a real invitation. Is someone targeting me? Setting me up. Camilla continued boldly. It doesn't matter anyway. You were already tired of that woman, weren't you? And now that everyone knows, it's time our relationship took the next step. Lawns narrowed his eyes, interrupting her. It seems you've made a mistake somewhere. Did you think I was serious about this relationship with a commoner like you? Camilla laughed. Of course not. But would you mind terribly if I went back to the party and revealed every last detail of our arrangement? There would be quite a bit of trouble, you know? Lawns shoved her away. What? Who are you threatening? Suddenly, Camilla's foot slipped and she fell. Lawns's face paled instantly. The scene shifted to Jeff. He searched, thinking, where did young Master Lawns go? These guys are quick on their feet. If only I could use my ability, it would be faster. Maybe in a short time, nothing major will happen, but Lady Fitby's intuition is incredibly sharp. Then he said aloud, I'll go check over there. Jeff turned and, using his ability, thought, there are guards nearby, so I can only use my power discreetly. Suddenly, So appeared, grabbing his arm. There was definitely something strange just now, So said. A sudden scream echoed nearby. Too late, So muttered. Fitby arrived at the scene. What's all the commotion? Lawns trembled. I messed up. Damn it. I only push her lightly. I didn't mean to. Fitby turned, suspicious. Push who? What do you mean? Excuse me, let me through. Fitby's face was etched with shock. What appeared before her was Camilla, lying lifeless at the bottom of the stairs. Camilla Letterez deceased. Duchess Ibria arrived. I need an explanation. What happened here? This was found on the body. Do you know what this is? Lawns's face drained of color. That's an invitation to the evening party. Duchess Ibria continued her questioning. I don't recall sending her an invitation. So, this invitation is a forgery. But the sender of this forged invitation is you, young Master Lawns. Lawns stammered. I don't remember sending such a letter. This is all a plot by Lady Fitby to frame me. So spoke up. Do you have any proof? When you left your fiancé and went off on your own, Lady Fitby was worried and followed you. Lady Massa was left alone. If you're suspecting her based on such flimsy grounds, you'll pay the price. Count. Fitby thought to herself, that's right. Young Master Lawns's dead lover. This further exposes his violent behavior. Although I didn't anticipate this situation, this is a game changer. Lady Massa stepped forward. What the Duke said is true. Lady Fitby was with me before this incident. Everyone here trusts Fitby. Lawns questioned Massa, if I become cornered, your family will soon fall as well. Don't you want to revive your family, which is on the brink of ruin? Massa replied coldly. No, young Master Lawns, it's over between us. Lawns's face darkened. How could you think you'd get away with this? If it weren't for my family's influence, you'd be wandering the streets right now. And you, Duchess Ibria, it seems you want to pin this crime on me. But don't you also lack concrete evidence? Her fall was a complete accident. Cordelia cut him off sharply. If it's evidence you want, I have it. I witnessed everything that happened. Cordelia had been wandering around, searching, when she saw a shoe floating on the surface of the lake. Looking closer, she saw Lon saying, "Be quiet. I'll pull you up right now." Lons thought to himself, "Wait, if this woman dies, no one will know about my humiliation." Camila cried out anxiously, "What are you doing? Pull me up. I just misspoke. I won't say anything about you." Cordelia, watching from afar, thought too far away. "I can't hear what they're saying anymore. Being hard of hearing is so inconvenient. Just a little nudge, and this woman is finished." The next scene unfolded, leaving her astonished. Lon simply let go of Camila's hand. "I'm sorry, but I have to marry that woman. You knew I would never send you an invitation. Yet you accepted a forged invitation and came here." Returning to the present, Cordelia continued, "Even though I couldn't hear what they were saying, I saw it clearly. This woman fell, and in doing so, she caused an injury on young Master Lons's arm. Lons was immediately apprehended. "I'll check," someone said. When his sleeve was pulled back, there were indeed scars. Duchess Ibria sighed and ordered the knights, "Arrest him." A while later, everyone had left. Fitby said, "So you did well." Merlin, who was beside her, spoke up. "Well then, I'll be going now." Fitby asked, "Going back already, Merlin?" Merlin replied, "There are still many preparations to be made for your departure, Mississippi. And there's something else I need to investigate." Merlin thought to himself, "Until now, I've only heard Miss Fitby's account of him, but I can sense it instinctively. Duke Salvador is a dangerous man to be around. She's only just recovered from the shock of Killian's betrayal, so I don't want her to be further confused by a truth that can't be certain. I have no choice but to gather more information on my own." As soon as Merlin left, so approached Fitby. "I've been looking everywhere for you." Fitby replied, "There were too many people gathered by the lake. I thought it best to avoid the area for a bit. It's been a while since we've seen each other, hasn't it? Whenever I'm around, things always seem to end up like this." So reassured her, "This isn't your fault, so don't blame yourself. Do you remember the promise you made to me before?" Fitby looked puzzled. "Promise." So moved closer and continued, "No one will ever be able to bring you down. I'll make sure you're never hurt again and that you can always smile freely. To make that happen, you just have to give me the order." Fitby thought to herself, "I don't know if it's because the tension of the day has finally been released or because his words are as sweet as a dream, but a voice inside me seems to be whispering, 'It's okay to dream, just this once.'" And so, she spoke the words she shouldn't have said that day. Then, with newfound resolve, Fitby declared, "I want to." So embraced her tightly and said, "I'll definitely make it happen." His eyes held a determined glint as he thought, "I will." Even if it meant turning everywhere else into a living hell. So returned to his carriage. Inside, he spoke to Jeff. "Young Master Lons. He's even self-destructing. Truly worthless. Besides, the media is focused on the device. If he dies now, everything will be a mess. Instead, we need to eliminate the true evil threatening her. You mentioned Estelle, right? She'll be attending the founding ceremony as well." So, continued, securing the position isn't enough. We need to make it look effortless. For me, luck is preferable. I mean, there's no need to change the plan. It's fine as is. As So stepped out of the carriage, a mysterious figure stood waiting. "I've been expecting you," the figure said. "I will lead you to the negotiation." The scene shifted to a different location. "It seems I'm finally getting out of here," a voice whispered. "I'm so nervous. Is the culprit Duchess Ibria mentioned really out there?" Fitby reassured herself, "There's no need to be afraid. That's why I'm here," she thought. When the beacon atop the holy mountain is lit, it can be seen from the highest hall of the imperial palace. From nobles to key figures of the empire, gathering at the palace is customary. In reality, only the priests within the sanctuary can perform the rites. "It's the perfect setting to apprehend the culprit," Estelle said dejectedly. "However, there are two saintesses in the sanctuary. I've been able to hide until now thanks to your abilities, Duchess Ibria. But what if the priests try to drive you away?" Fitby smiled in response. "Don't worry. If that happens, I'm prepared." The scene shifted outside, where a young woman spoke. "I'm so glad Lady Estelle is attending the founding ceremony. She wasn't planning on it at first. It's all thanks to Duchess Galix." The woman beside her inquired. "But it seems Duchess Galix isn't attending the founding ceremony, is she?" The brown-haired woman replied, "I heard she's currently confined to her room, with all the curtains drawn. Who knows? Maybe she's locked in." suddenly so arrived. Excuse me, I see you're having a lively conversation. What are you discussing? Perhaps you could share it with me. Flustered, the young woman replied, of course. We were talking about the founding of the nation. Another chimed in, indeed. Are you interested in that? The new saintess will be presiding over the ceremony today. So smiled inwardly. They don't even dare speak frankly in front of me. But it will all be over soon. In a little while, there will be only one saintess in this empire. The red-haired man behind him suddenly spoke up. Is that true? The platinum-haired person across from him answered. I just heard it myself. Duchess Galix is at this sacred place. Yes. Overhearing this, so approached. Are you certain about what you just said? I'm asking you. Are you sure Thitbai is inside the sanctuary? The man replied, certain, absolutely certain. The Duchess is there. So, upon hearing this, was taken aback. The scene shifted to another location. This is a blatant disregard for the temple, Your Highness. A matter of this importance, and you didn't consult with us. Why make such a decision unilaterally? Crown Prince Killian thought to himself, I knew this would happen. This is such a headache. Just informing us would have sufficed. But if this can sway Thitbai back to my side, it's truly worth it. He then added cautiously, tone it down a bit. Don't forget the opponent before you is the emperor of this land. A voice from below replied, Your Highness, my words just now were foolish. I sincerely apologize. However, the sanctuary falls under the jurisdiction of the temple. Yet, you arbitrarily brought the saintess into the sanctuary. When you did that, did you consider whether you could still maintain a good relationship with the clergy? No, she's no longer the saintess now, Killian stated. You're misunderstanding. She was the saintess and acted on her own accord. Then she relinquished her own status. But when this is over, we'll have to thank her. Thanks to her, Lady Estelle agreed to attend the founding ceremony. The priests were astonished. Killian continued, I didn't want you to force Estelle, so I sent the only person Estelle trusts to persuade her. The priests inquired, Your Highness, do you mean Duchess Galix? Killian replied, if not, why would I allow the Duchess in? As everyone has said, the temple is a sacred place. The success of the founding ceremony depends on the temple. It's not an exaggeration to say so, but I bear the responsibility. If rumors spread that I couldn't persuade the saintess, what would people think? So, considering your reputations, I intentionally took responsibility, enduring the noble's objections. Yet, you fail to understand my intentions and create such a commotion. I ask again, does the clergy intend to disrespect me? Do you think you can maintain a harmonious relationship with the imperial family? They immediately knelt. Forgive us, Your Highness. We were truly short-sighted. Please have mercy and pardon us. Killian crossed his arms, thinking they cowered instantly. What a pity.